On Yorkshire with Rotherham versus Shrewsbury in your match.
It's taken them 110 years, but Rotherham United have finally arrived at Wembley. For many of the team and the hordes of fans who followed them here, it's their first visit to Wembley. Only one of the squad has ever played here before. Nigel Jemson, scorer of the winning goal in the 1990 League Cup final for Nottingham Forest, and scorer of both goals in the 2-0 win at Carlisle in the second leg of the Northern final. A result that gave the Millers a 4-0 aggregate victory and their place at Wembley. So a great day for the players and the fans. And a familiar walk for Rotherham's joint managers Archie Gemmell and John McGovern, key figures in Nottingham Forest's domination of the League Cup here in the late 70s and early 80s. Guest of honour today, another with fond memories of Wembley, Geoff Hurst, scorer of a hat-trick in the 1966 World Cup final. Before the kick-off, let's hear the views of John McGovern.
It was quite a while ago since I was here. It was just nice to get back.
What have you been able to tell the lads about the experience?
Well, we've just had a very, very low-key weekend. We've relaxed, obviously did a little bit of training, and we've just let them find out for themselves, having arrived today. But I mean, it's something brand new for every one of them, apart from Nigel Jemson, who's the only one to have played here before. And I think there's actually only one or two of them that have been to the stadium before. But we just left it to them, you know, and as I said to you, it's more of a relaxed weekend, because there's nothing vital really at stake apart from a bit of pride.
Upwards of 20,000 have made the journey south from Rotherham. That's around a tenth of the town's population. An atmosphere of high excitement and anticipation as we cross to our commentary team, Ian St John, and first, John Helm.
It's a fantastic day for two clubs who haven't exactly filled their trophy cabinets over the past century, but they've more than half filled Wembley. In fact, there are more here than there were for England versus Bulgaria recently. By one of those strange quirks of football, Rotherham's hitherto most famous day came in 1961 when they played in the first ever Football League Cup final after they'd beaten Shrewsbury Town in the semi-finals. And by another coincidence, both of today's teams have only one player who's ever played at Wembley before. Nigel Jemson's day ended in glory with that match winner for Nottingham Forest against Oldham Athletic in the 1990 League Cup final. Today he goes hunting for goals again alongside Sean Gota, the first Bermudian to play at the Twin Towers. The most difficult team poser was in midfield, and Gemmell and McGovern have plumped for Andy Roscoe to the disappointment of Andy Hayward. John Kay is Shrewsbury's sole second-time visitor. He also came in 1990, but was on a losing Sunderland side in the playoff final against Swindon. He's on loan to Shrewsbury. This is only his fourth appearance for them. Manager Fred Davies has sprung a couple of surprises, and he says it was the toughest thing he's ever had to do in telling regulars like Paul Evans, Tommy Lynch and Steve Antrobus they're not in from the start. Evans doesn't even make the bench. Carl Robinson, on loan from Wolves, will play only his third game for the club. Today's referee, David Allison from Lancaster, and certainly the pinnacle of his career. He thinks he's got one more year on the list, but this is the greatest moment he's had. Even the referees wear different strips these days. Rotherham are in their traditional red and white, and Shrewsbury have had a kit specially made to commemorate the occasion, and the players will keep it afterwards. And here might be Gota straight away for Rotherham. Well, there nearly was an opportunity for them. Jemson has knocked the ball through for Goodwin. His shot's a curler, and it curls the wrong side of the upright.
Well, what a shaky start that was for Shrewsbury Town, wasn't it? You know, it was a bad-headed pass back in the first place that allowed Gota a bit of a sniff. You'll see it here, John, when it got played there, and this was the second effort. It was knocked into Goodwin, and Goodwin had the shot, just went wide.
Interesting that Shrewsbury have started with Barkley on the right-hand side. He prefers playing down the left. In fact, he played down the right in the first half against Rotherham in the league game recently. He had a miserable time and switched to the normal flank in the second half. Now Gota's managed to turn his defender, and away goes Sean Gota. And John Kay gets a touch to the ball, and Edwards will come across to complete a clearance.
These are very nervous moments, John, for both sides. You know, they don't want to make any mistakes in these early minutes. And you can see the nervousness, can't you? You know, in the actions of one or two players.
Very much so, and there'll be a few players out there who haven't even touched the ball yet and will just be praying that they soon do get a touch of it. Here's Paul Hurst with the throw-in. Can't be one of the smallest players who's ever played at Wembley. He does take a lot of stick, I know, for his height, and apparently it's not to his detriment. He's had a great season for them. Richardson to Goodwin. Does well to keep possession there. No free kick. And Stevens of Shrewsbury in possession. It will be a free kick. First conceded it. Barkley. Shrewsbury now get the chance to get a feel of the ball. This is their centre-back, Whiston. Garner was tackled from behind illegally by Ian Stevens. So Neil Richardson will take this free kick for Rotherham. They've made a bright enough start, and they'll have Jemson up there. They'll have Gota in here, and it was a good block by Whiston. Otherwise, Gota could well have scored. He's had two chances in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, that's right. He's looking very dangerous, isn't he, Gota? And as you see, the number 5 Whiston there just managed to get the block on as Gota turned on that one. Tried to just cut it across the goalkeeper, and Whiston with the tackle.
Corner taken. Goodwin whips the cross in. Here's Jemson, and he'll turn just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Another chance for Gota, maybe. No, it's flicked away. But some very shaky moments for Shrewsbury in defence already.
Well, they are looking a bit shaky, and this is a good start, bright start by Rotherham.
It's only just over a week ago that they met in the league at Millmore. It was a 2-2 draw and a bright game that day. Hurst has made tremendous inroads here. Chris With, former Bradford City and Mansfield Town fullback. On to Mark Taylor, once of Sheffield Wednesday. It's neatly done. Good piece of play coming out of defence there. He's slightly unfortunate, Ian Breckin. He'd broken up the attack, but the pass went astray. Fred Davis is Shrewsbury's manager, alongside him Kevin Summerfield, and that is a name synonymous with Shrewsbury over the years. And his young 8-year-old son Luke is the team's mascot for the day. That's a lovely searching ball to pick out Stevens. Only Spink in the middle for the moment. Stevens eludes the first marker and the second, and then skies the shot. Seems to just lose his composure, having done the first part very well.
You have to think really that you know, he'd worked himself a lovely little chance here down the left-hand side. You know, he beat the number 6 Breckin there, no problem. Comes inside and then got a little bit excited, John.
Ian Stevens, who's on for a record today, he's got 7 goals in this competition already so far. The record is 8, held by Kevin Francis, then of Stockport County. Kay again, vastly experienced defender. And Barkley. Robinson into Taylor, and they've got plenty of bodies forward this time, Shrewsbury. Wide is Barkley. And holds it up well. Delivers a decent looking cross too, but well claimed, Matthew Clark. Good keeper, this lad, and Sheffield Wednesday and Everton have taken note of his progress.
Well, he had a good pair of hands with that cross, John, and nice bit of play by Shrewsbury, wasn't it? Good little build-up, nice controlled passing, but a good catch by the keeper.
Weston's header picked up by Trevor Berry, one of the most recent signings from Aston Villa. Blades, who also came from a Midlands club at Wolves. I think any side dreads conceding an early goal, and neither has done that.
Well, that's right, and the game is beginning to just settle down a little bit. Shrewsbury, who were very nervous in the opening minutes, now look a bit more controlled, keeping their fans a bit happier.
Kay suffered a horrendous broken leg injury a couple of seasons ago, so he's done well to come back to fitness. Here's Gota, looking to do well in the area. Now Jemson, the shot's got no sting in it.
Well, he knows all about scoring goals, Jemson, here at Wembley, but he didn't get a hold of that one, John. Bit of a half-hearted attempt.
Archie Gemmill in the centre of your picture, only played in one of those League Cup finals for Nottingham Forest. Ian Bailey on this side of him, physiotherapist. A long ball for Stevens, but he was yards off. Still some anxiety on the bench in these early minutes. And most of the anxiety, there's an appeal for a handball there. Mr. Allison said it struck the chest. I think that's fair. It would have been a bit harsh. That was the bounce of the ball as much as anything.
Yeah, it was an awkward bounce, but there was two players, Taylor being one of them, close to the ball there, and it seemed to sort of run up his body. But the referee was standing about a yard or two away.
So good intervention there. And up it goes towards Jemson, looking for the layoff to Gota. Jemson and Gota look as though they've got a bit of an understanding.
Yeah, I mean, they've started reasonably bright, haven't they?
Good one. Knocks it in for Gota. An important challenge by Walton, the former Sheffield United player, who was transferred in Dave Bassett's day to Shrewsbury for a modest sum. Here's Gota, good work from him, nips it back, Jemson, goal! 1-0 Rotherham, and it's that man again, Nigel Jemson. How he loves Wembley. Jemson, the man whose goals brought them here, strikes the blow, but didn't go to do well.
Well, we were saying, John, about the partnership working quite well in the early stages, and that was exactly it. You know, Gota did lovely, didn't he? Look at that. Flicked it away with his right foot, outside of his right foot, and Jemson smash into the roof of the net.
It's a great finish, and it's a great boost, this, for Rotherham United. Lovely play from Sean Gota, excellent finish to go with it. Nigel Jemson.
Well, I'll tell you, John, that's exactly what the game needed, because it was a little bit of stalemate up to this particular point. It was just becoming a game of chess, as it were. Now the goals happen, they've got to get out and play there. You know, Shrewsbury have got to come forward, and that will make the game. It may even make Archie smile there.
Just to say, do you think Archie knows? He wasn't letting on, was he, there? It's funny how some players just have a knack of being in the right place at the right time.
Well, if you were betting on a player to score today at Wembley, the first goal, you've got to take Jemson. I mean, he's an experienced player, as I said before. He has done it here, and, you know, it'd be on the cards that he would get one.
Can you have a bet on him?
Unfortunately, no.
Interesting, before the game, the attitude seemed to be for Rotherham for them to go out and enjoy it, whereas the Shrewsbury manager, Fred Davies, kept stressing to me how much he wanted to win here today, which is why he's made the changes and brought in those 2 on-loan players. And yet at the moment it's Rotherham right on song. Here comes Hurst for them. Only a dash about him. Trying to work position here for Roscoe. And he'll thump one across, and it's knocked back in. Oh, and Gota, well, he was a touch away from a second goal for Rotherham. I think it just went behind him. And that would have been a body blow to Shrewsbury. And here they are themselves now, with Austin Barkley. He's shown some good ideas. And not a bad cross, skimmed away off Richardson's boot. And the blue touch paper is well and truly lit. Problems for the manager.
Well, a bit of a let-off there, actually, for Shrewsbury, wasn't it? Well, it was a ball was just hammered back across there, you know, by Berry, and, you know, Gota was just caught on the hop, I think, with the pace of the ball.
Roscoe in for Gota. Roscoe again. I thought he was going to play Goodwin enough, and he won't want that to be replayed.
Well, he's got to replace his divot there. I mean, that was just a total miss kick there. He was trying to hit it in first time and just made a real hash of it.
Well, they've had a wait of 110 years for this moment. I don't think any of them were around when the club was formed. But Shrewsbury Town have actually won the Welsh Cup 6 times. It always astonishes me how an English club can go and win the Welsh Cup. Well, they've done it 6 times, Shrewsbury. Blades, trot on the ball, and it releases Spink. Taylor now, the captain. And Taylor's done well, and he's cut it back here towards Spink. He'll turn the shot. Well, it's come back to Taylor. They're still going, Shrewsbury here. And Taylor, oh, that looked like a handball. It's a corner, but there was no appeal actually from Taylor, so let's say that it struck that man. I think it was Garner.
Well, I think Taylor actually, you know, might have had a case here. That was Spink there who tried to turn and hit it, all in one movement. And then the ball went back to Taylor, and his cross was like, no, I think, you know, handballed.
So we are a long way away, but that's what it looked like. Anyway, Spink caused the problem, and he's in there again now for the Shrewsbury corner. In fact, Shrewsbury have thrown just about everybody in here. I think it was the last minute. Comes in from Taylor. It's over towards Spink. Ooh, and it was missed by a Rotherham defender, and they were rather lucky to get away with that, Rotherham United. Still battling for it. Whiston sends it over there for Taylor again. He says, come on, set something up for us, and Taylor will do just that. He's taking his time about it. In fact, he's now fouled the opponent Garner.
He's a tidy player, Taylor, isn't he? You know, he likes to link things up for them, and, you know, I think he's a good player.
Brackett gets it long, and Gota will charge over there to confront Whiston. He's a bit of a handful, Sean Gota.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's had a bright first half so far. He's certainly been a handful for the centre-backs.
Actually came here as a schoolboy when Bermuda schoolboys sent a team across here, and he came to Wembley to have a look around the place, and he was spotted by Manchester United playing in Bermuda. And here's a chance for Jemson again, and it comes through in the end to Roscoe, who loops it back over there, and Jemson again, missed by a whisker. Well, it could have gone anywhere, and it just went the wrong side of the upright for Nigel Jemson.
Well, again, it was Roscoe's lovely ball. Played first time, it was a lovely one there. Gota gets up there behind him, it hits him actually, and Jemson with the volley, oh, inches wide.
And generally, I think that Fred Davies will have a few home truths to say to some of his players.
I think he will, John, and as I say, I think he might even change his side in the second half.
Here we go, Gota against Whiston. Jemson. to his disgust. There's certainly plenty of noise around Wembley.
Well, it's a good atmosphere, you know. Both sets of fans have come here. They're letting their voices be heard and really enjoying it.
Well, as I said at the start, there are more people here than there were for England versus Bulgaria.
Well, they're not bad judges.
It's incredible because the first game Rotherham played in this competition this year, there were 750 there for the match against Chester. It shows it's all about getting to Wembley. Now Roscoe, with that favoured left foot. Now Goodwin with his favoured right foot. Roscoe again, Goodwin again, lovely running from Goodwin. He's just got to elude Whiston, who made a timely tackle.
Stuck a big right leg out there, and it was a timely tackle. But great play again up this left-hand side. That's been the major attacking point of Rotherham's play in the first half.
Whiston's made a couple of timely interventions. They'll be glad he's got over his groin strain. And Rotherham will be very pleased because at half-time they lead here thanks to Nigel Jemson, who's done it again. Gota laid him into the situation to score. Nigel Jemson obliged, and at half-time it's the Rotherham fans who are the happiest. They deserve their lead. It's Rotherham 1, Shrewsbury 0.
Chatterwell.
18.
Chatterwell.
18.
You are suffering from glass abuse. You feel shattered. I prescribe windscreening. Get wise. Call the guys. The auto windscreens guys.
If you want a mortgage flexible enough
for you to tailor to your individual needs, phone Yorkshire Bank.
free on 0800
20
21
22.
Because you love him, you give him Caesar every day. Choice cuts of fine meat with all the vitamins and minerals he needs, carefully selected and prepared. And now in 3 special new recipes, cooked in delicious gravy or a light jelly. New Caesar. He'll love the difference.
Oh, I could really do with a KFC original recipe dinner. 2 pieces of mouth-watering chicken, fries and the succulent corn cobbett. The original recipe dinner. It's finger-licking good.
I'm not what you call a world traveller. Fact is, I've never left Britain. I'm happy as I am. But Margaret used to tell me that every person should follow their dreams. And that's just what I'm doing. I don't know much about technology, really. I just want it to do what it promises.
ICL, information technology supporting your way of life.
I'm not sure, officer. I only caught a glimpse of him.
OK, let's go over it again. You were serving breakfast in the boardroom.
Yes, and that's when the switch must have taken place. Then, after just one mouthful, they sold the company. I bought Happy Hour Hula Club in Honolulu. I think it's number 4. Could you ask him to growl?
Kellogg's Frosties. They'll bring out the tiger in you.
Who are the guys who serve you night and day? We are the guys. We are the guys. Brand new windscreen, body glass or screen repair. Auto windscreens of air. With 700 vans, spread nationwide. The auto windscreens guys.
Welcome back to Wembley Stadium. Things going well for Rotherham so far. Rotherham 1, Shrewsbury 0 at half-time. Let's go down to the touchline where former Rotherham player and now youth coach John Breckin is with John Shires.
John, good value for that.
Yeah, I thought we opened up very well and I thought we got the early goal. That's what we needed and we settled down well. But I think Shrewsbury's come back into the game and towards the end there, they were pushing us back.
What do you think Archie and John will have been saying at half-time?
Well, just encourage them. They've done very well the first half. They'll tell them to just go out and keep playing the way they are doing. Don't see any real problems.
And the second half starts with a substitution made by Shrewsbury. I can't say I'm surprised about that. Steve Anthrobus is on. He's got 10 goals for them this season, most of them in recent weeks. And he replaces Dean Spink for the second half. And well, I'm not surprised by that, Saint.
No, I'm not. I mean, I did say before half-time I thought the manager would make that change at half-time, and he's certainly done that. It's been positive. He's got another striker on, and he's going to have to go for it in this half.
Anthrobus, a record £150,000 signing from Wimbledon. And he'll want to get quickly into the game. As substitute, and here he is now, going for it, but not quite getting there. Still gets his head to the ball well, and it's angled inside by Jemson, but met by Whiston. Now, good burst there from Robinson. Tried to lay it forward for Stevens. Nicely taken down by Trevor Berry. Counter loses out to Taylor. Again, Breckin was the one who just did enough there for Rotherham. Jemson, well played. Gota, Lingana. Berry one-on-one against With here, and he could have taken his time. He's won the corner.
I think he could have taken his full back on there. You're quite right, John.
Well, that's the scene. It's a crowded penalty box. A rare Rotherham corner. They've not won as many as Shrewsbury. Jemson, one of those in there. Roscoe will take it with the left foot, so we assume it's going to come curling in towards Edwards in the Shrewsbury goal. And here it is. And he's made a good catch there. He's got a good pair of hands, this fella.
Yes, he certainly has. Good corner kick, whipped in with his left foot, Roscoe. Always a dangerous ball, that, John, whipping in like that. You know, I think he just got a little bit too much height in it. And the goalie actually lost it and then managed to gather it.
Goes Anthrobus. Oh.
Not quite got his range yet.
Whiston. Robinson. Anthrobus, that is a better touch from him. Found Stevens well. Certainly more positive beginning to the half from Shrewsbury. Barkley teasing Blades, still Barkley, up for With, and well taken care of by Richardson back there for Rotherham. You can hear the Shrewsbury voices now. Fans exercising their throats, and Robinson's into the area. Good tackle. There were two good tackles from Rotherham defenders there. And Ben Goodwin down the line, Roscoe. Jemson back for Roscoe, on he goes, and a vital contribution there from Whiston in the Shrewsbury defence. Some pace about the game at the moment, and here goes Berry for Rotherham. Angles it forward for Gota. So many blue shirts back there, but Berry sliced it. Took his eye off the ball, I fancy there. Barkley past Blades. Inside Garner. Supporting. Shrewsbury with plenty of men around, but it's onto the head of that man Breckin once again. And then a sloppy clearance from Hurst, who just conceded possession again. It's quite brisk as a game at the moment. It's the first time you feel that Shrewsbury have exerted any real pressure on Rotherham. And here goes Gota, here goes Berry for them now. Just nicked it on a fancier touch too far. But the game is much better than it was.
Well, the game has really livened up because Shrewsbury have done more in the opening minutes of this second half than they did in the 45 of the first, John. They've been very positive now, and I think it'll make for a very good second half.
There's Paul Blades, not seen much of him in attacking guys today, but he's angled the ball across here towards Jemson. He wasn't quite sure about the whereabouts of the ball then.
Jemson did well there again, you know, he cut across the number 10 Walton, got his head to it.
You're like me saying you do wish that they wouldn't play defenders in number 10 shirts. Doesn't seem right somehow, does it? Oh, it might be something for Jemson again here. Oh, it must be a goal. 2 for Jemson, 2 for Rotherham. Disaster for Shrewsbury. Well, they can't believe that they've been gifted such a soft goal as Edwards picks the ball out of the net. We look forward to this replay and we'll see just how simple it was for Nigel Jemson.
Well, it was a real feeble headbutt, wasn't it, in the first place? And then the big goalkeeper came, had a real wild slice at it, and Jemson couldn't believe his luck. There was a ball, there was a goal. Thank you very much. There's a miss kick with the goalkeeper. It hit Jemson in the chest, and you won't score a simpler goal at Wembley than that one.
What a gift. Walton was the culprit. Edwards less to blame, I think. And there's an irony there because those were the two who were caught out against Liverpool in the Cup earlier this season. Jemson said, thanks a lot for that. I'll take another Wembley goal, thank you. Actually, John McGovern not affording themselves a smile yet. This will be a free kick for Shrewsbury. Well, yes, just to remind you that Liverpool scored a resounding FA Cup success at Shrewsbury earlier this season, and Walton, who's a Liverpool fan, gave away an own goal and conceded another one to Robbie Fowler, who gave the ball to him.
I was at that game, John, yeah, you're right enough, and he made a terrible mistake that day as well.
And here we are on another big occasion, and I'm afraid he was found wanting there. Anyway, it's still... Shrewsbury still in the game at 2-0, and there is Walton trying to atone. He'll certainly do that.
Oh, he'll certainly, you know, he will be like straining everything to try and get a goal here.
You know, the other strange thing, Saint, is that they've had a bit of a hoodoo over Rotherham over the years, Shrewsbury. They've not beaten Shrewsbury in the last 7 matches. They've won 2 out of 18, and yet on the big occasion, it's Rotherham who are 2 goals clear.
And deservedly so, John, at this particular point.
And Jemson's on his way again. He's going for a hat-trick. With takes it away from the danger zone. Oh, and that's broken down again and released Gota in here. He'll pull it back for Jemson. Sliced away this time by Walton. They're on the rack at the moment. Shrewsbury.
Well, Shrewsbury are making so many elemental mistakes. I mean, that's very, very slack defensive play, and they deserve really to get punished for it.
And Tommy Lynch there, who actually captained the side in midweek, could make his entry as a substitute today. One of the longest serving players down at Shrewsbury, Lynch. 6 years he's been there. Jemson. Kept it in well, hooked it up in the air. Interesting to see how Fred Davis shuffles things around by bringing on Lynch, who's another defender, really.
I don't think he'll bring a defender on for a defender, John, will he? I wouldn't have thought.
And it will be that youngster, Carl Robinson, who is replaced by Lynch. So one of the club's more experienced players coming on for its least experienced. Well, it's been a learning process, as they say, for young Robinson, who's never played a first-team game at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and this is only his 3rd senior game, and it just happens to be at Wembley Stadium.
I'll tell you, we're asking a lot, really, of the boy to come out here and really perform on the big day.
Okay. I think Taylor was more effective in the first half when he was playing down the left side.
Well, funny enough, I was just looking at that. He seems to be, at the moment, he doesn't really know what he's trying to do, John, you know, and he's not been as positive as he was in the first half.
We're inside the last quarter, and Rotherham United are leading Shrewsbury by 2-0. Shrewsbury did the double over Rotherham last season. 4-0 at Millmoor was the score. They beat them 3-1 at Game Meadow this season, and they drew 2-2 at Millmoor only a few days ago. But here comes Shrewsbury now with Stevens. Great chance. Must surely be a goal for Taylor. Shrewsbury are back in it. Mark Taylor, the captain. Nobody deserves it more, and now they've something to look forward to. Beautifully created by Stevens, crisply finished by Taylor. It's 2-1.
Well, I'm delighted for them. They managed to get a goal here. Lovely skill here by Stevens. Wasn't that when he took the ball right up to the goal, cut it back. You know, and Taylor said, "Thank you, I'll knock that one in." Good control, took it round the last defender, despairing dive, and Taylor tucked it away.
And it's match on again. Thanks to Mark Taylor there, who's got a habit of scoring in this competition, important goals. He got one in the Southern Area final against Bristol Rovers. It's only his 3rd goal of the season. He got one against Rotherham last year. This one means more to him.
We were saying about him not being too influential out on the right-hand side, but he popped up in the centre-forward position there very nicely.
10 minutes to go. And it's now Rotherham 2, Shrewsbury 1. And it's the blue banners that are waving. And how a goal lifts a side. You can sense that Shrewsbury feel there's something on now. Taylor again the man in possession. And if they get one more, we'll obviously go into extra time, and we could have the golden goal rule applying. Lynch forward for Anthrobus. This is a testing time for Rotherham. Put out by Richardson. Shrewsbury have a corner.
Well, Big Anthrobus has certainly done his part since he came on the second half. He's really rumbled people up, and he's having a good one.
And credit Fred Davis with the substitutions he's made. It's rekindled Shrewsbury's hopes. And Taylor, the man who's got the goal, will now take a corner. Whiston's gone up there for it. Walton's gone up. That was Whiston. Just missed him somehow.
I was saying before, John, that, you know, if Shrewsbury could get a goal and make it 2-1, the pressure then goes back on to Rotherham, because they're then going to try and hang on to a 2-1 lead. And you can see that already. You can see it. It's very visible.
Sliding it down the line for Jensen. Even he'll be wondering now if his 2 goals are going to win the day or not. This is Gota. Oh, he's turned superbly around Whiston, who did well. Whiston stuck at the job. First. Whiston again gets up ahead of Gota. And every time the blue shirts move forward, there's a roar now from their expectant followers. Here's Stevens, who conjured up the goal. Taylor, who scored it. It was a rather desperate ball. He was lunging at it, but it's found Stevens here. And this time a solid tackle made on him. Well played by Richardson. But Stevens, I think he's a good player. He looks dangerous when he's running at the opposition.
Well, that's his style. I mean, he goes right at them. He tries his little trick, and if it works, he's through. Well,
Stevens actually came here as a member of a Bolton Wanderers squad a couple of years ago for a playoff match. He didn't get off the bench that day, so it's his Wembley debut, so to speak, but he'll be delighted to have set up that goal.
Oh yeah, excellent skill, wasn't it?
And they really have got going again now. They're really motoring Shrewsbury.
I think Antrobus was looking for a corner there. He was trying to play it off the defender and went inside the corner.
He so wants to win, does Fred Davis. The only time he's been here was with Norwich City as a member of their staff when they lost to Aston Villa in the League Cup final.
Yes, I remember that one, John. It would be lovely for him. I mean, he's been in the game a long time. I think he's about the third oldest manager in the league.
He is. Don't mention Ron Atkinson and Sammy Chin. There's a good ball. Stevens up against Richardson. He's got Barkley in support. Stevens still teasing them. Good-looking cross. Here's a chance. There might still be something for Lynch. Nudged out of Lynch's way by Blades. Another Shrewsbury corner.
Timely intervention by Blades there, wasn't it? Lynch coming in at the back post.
And Stevens did well again.
Yes, he did.
He's the one who is really carrying the fight to Rotherham. Ian Stevens. Taylor's corner. Went for Lynch for the flick on, but it was met instead by Garner. With the first-time cross. Flick through here, and they've got bodies around again. Cleared by Breckin. Heart-stopping moments for the Rotherham fans, that's for sure.
Antrobus causing trouble again there, got the header, knocked it down. Now these Rotherham fans must be biting their nails now.
Well, they're all smiling, aren't they? They're enjoying the day, and that's what's so great about it. Close on 40,000, I would think, here at Wembley. And they've had a terrific afternoon's entertainment. Here comes Shrewsbury again, and it's knocked in there for Clark to make one of the few catches I can remember him having to make today.
That's correct, but he needed it.
People have started looking at their watches around Wembley Stadium now. So the referee just cast a glance at his watch then, but play on, he says. So Rotherham fans who were whistling, you wouldn't think they were in the lead. And every clearance will be cheered to the echo now. On for Gota. Headed firmly away again, but only as far as Taylor. The pressure mounts, but should be relieved now by Garner, who'll clip it over the top here for Berry, and he'll dash towards that Shrewsbury goal. And then yes, I thought he might just try and hold it up. Goodwin, have all the time in the world to just play it around now. That's what they need to do. Possession very much the name of the game for Rotherham. Jemson hoisted up here towards Goodwin, just too far for him. Scuttled back along with the rest. It's a good back header from Roscoe.
It's a case of can Rotherham stay cool and calm in the minute or so that's left, and they just calm it down here and try and keep a hold of this ball.
They are roaring them on. Mr. Allison has a look at the watch again. Play on, he says. Rotherham 2, Shrewsbury 1. Gota, that was a foul. Rotherham are so close to their first major honour, really. The third division cup in 1946, not quite the same. But they still have to defend. Shrewsbury throwing everything at it. There were so many bodies in there, but it was one in a red shirt that brought the ball to safety. Jemson, Berry streaking ahead of him. Jemson's been around long enough to know to slow it down. On he goes, he could get a hat-trick here, Nigel Jemson! Fabulous save from Edwards. I think Gota fancied his chances as well, but Edwards retained his concentration to deny Jemson a hat-trick.
Well, Jemson, wonderful skill here, took it past the tired defender, left foot, tried to bend it around the goal, But Paul Edwards, fantastic save, really. Wonderful save.
But at the moment, it looks like Jemson's day. And a gem of a signing he has proved. Rotherham United win the Auto Windscreen Shield. It's their first major triumph in over a century. And Nigel Jemson, the man who plundered the League Cup for Nottingham Forest 6 years ago, returns to Wembley and is the lucky mascot again. Disappointment for Shrewsbury fans. I think on the balance, the best side won. Rotherham take it 2-1 despite Mark Taylor's second half strike, which put a bit of pressure on Rotherham. So it's Rotherham's day at Wembley. We'll see them receive the shield in just a moment, and we'll hear from their heroes after this break.
I'll need my windscreens for this. Oh. See? Get wise. Call the guys. The Auto Windscreens guys.
Wow. You know, I bet they drink Carling Black Label on the house. Brewed 4.1%, no less.
Well, I've got some pretty impressive statistics of my own.
Me too, big boy.
Carling Black Label. Bottoms up, the best-selling beer in Britain.
So screen repair, Auto Windscreens are there. With 700 vans, spread nationwide. The Auto Windscreens line.
Well, Rotherham United become the first Yorkshire club ever to win this competition, following the likes of Birmingham City last year and other big names like Stoke City and Wolverhampton Wanderers in the past. But those Rotherham supporters are going to savour the moment and enjoy the journey home tonight. Well, it's always a disconsolate moment for a losing side, and there the Shrewsbury players receiving their medals from Jeff Hurst. Paul Edwards there, the goalkeeper, made that thrilling stop in the last minute to deny Nigel Jemson a hat-trick. And it does make you wonder, Saint, if Anthrobus there had been on from the start, whether the result might have been different.
Well, I thought, actually, when I saw the team, that maybe Fred, you know, had made a mistake in that one, because Anthrobus is a real handful, and there was no punch, really, in the first half, and it only happened for Shrewsbury in the second half, and Anthrobus really was at the heart of it.
What a proud moment for Matthew Clark, born in South Yorkshire, the captain of Rotherham United, and he makes the walk up the stairs and along the royal box, and Matthew Clark will receive from Jeff Hurst the Auto Windscreen Shield, won by Rotherham United. It's taken over 100 years in doing, but they have a trophy to cheer. Nigel Jemson there was the two-goal hero, just as he was in the area final. Joyous moments indeed. The next job is to make sure of staying in the division.
Oh, I think there's no problem with that one. I think for both these sides, you know, I think they'll still be in the division in the coming year.
Well, they've given good entertainment, Saint, today to this big crowd.
Oh yes, they have, and I just think it's a great occasion for the smaller clubs and the fans. As you say, 100 years, you know, and they're here. It's just terrific. Wonderful occasion for everyone involved.
don't they know it? And Sean Goodwin there as well, who's been such a part of Rotherham over this decade.
Well, everybody's not Manchester United and Liverpool fans, eh?
Quite right too. And I hope those youngsters continue to support their team, Rotherham, in the years to come. And I hope they come here again. Disappointment for the substitutes there. Lads like McGlashan, for example.
Yeah, the lads that never got on. You know, it's a big occasion. Everybody wants to tread the turf, don't they? They want to get out there and have a kick around at Wembley, and it is a disappointment when they don't get on.
They were celebrating back in Bermuda anyway. Yeah, McGlashan and Hay with the subs who never got on for Rotherham United. But Jemson was on there and he did the business again. John McGovern, he's used to winning here. So is Archie Gowing.
Archie almost smiled there. Did you see that?
Happy scenes indeed. And it's a day to go down in the annals of the club. And a great day for the chairman as well, Ken Booth, who's supported the club for over 60 years. He's in his 70s now. And it's a marvel because you do take the knocks as a chairman. And only last season when they lost at home 4-0 to Shrewsbury, the Rotherham fans were calling for Ken Booth's head. And here he is at Wembley, savouring the best moment of his chairmanship.
Yeah, we forget about chairman at times, but yeah, certainly, John, you're right enough there.
That's the one. And Matthew Clark shows the shield to the adoring fans. We've not always had a lot to cheer at Millmoor. There's Neil Richardson, who came down from the northeast and has been an integral part of the Rotherham scene over the last few years. It was a sad day for the losers, and Paul Walton there, who made the mistake which let Jemson in for his second. What must he be feeling?
Matthew, what a day.
What a day indeed. I mean, it's every player's dream to play at Wembley and to go out there and lift the cup. I know it'd be a special day if we could do it, and the lads have played brilliant today, and we've got the result. I can't speak, speechless.
Surprised really that it was so easy until the last 10 minutes. You were a spectator.
Yeah. Well, I've just had a joke with the lads. I think I made about 4 or 5 world-class saves out there. No, I've had nothing to do. Lads have kept me well protected today. At the end of the day, everybody's played well. Commiserations to them. At the end of the day, they've come there and put pressure on us, scored one late on. Last 10 minutes were a bit nail-biting, but we managed to pull the victory off.
What does this mean for a club like Rotherham?
Well, as you can see, all the people in Rotherham United, the town, were buzzing before, and to obviously to win, come down here, it's excellent. The next few days are just going to be a bit touch me and make sure I'm still there.
Nudge, you obviously like this place.
Yeah, it seems to be looking ground. That's a third goal we've got now in 2 visits, so well happy.
Just talk us through those.
Well, the first one, all I can remember really is Sean God's doing fantastically, and you know, good vision just to see me pulled away and you know, laid into me and managed to side foot it to the back of the net. The second goal, obviously a bit of luck to it, just challenged, you know, the keeper. Yeah, I think he miskicked it, bounced off me, and I was just there to roll it to manage to get through the game without freezing, and the lads are absolutely fantastic. It's not about individuals today, it's about the whole team, or the whole squad in fact.
You know, we actually do try and play in football, contrary to a lot of the experts' views from the higher echelons. But no, we've gone out today, we've played well, we've won 2-1, and I think maybe at the end of the day we might have been worth another goal. But having said that, you know, it's a day for Rotherham United, and for us to get here, as I said to you, and bring 18,000 people from Rotherham, I mean, that's something of a minor miracle for a club like ours, that struggles to get gates of 3,000, that has got no real sort of ambitions through that percentage of people coming through the turnstiles, and it's just a one-off day where we've really enjoyed it, we've won, and we deserved it.
Originally you were with Manchester United when you came over here. When you left them, did you think your chance of getting to Wembley had perhaps gone forever?
I don't think you think of that. But at the time that I left Man United, I was still learning, and I still am learning. But you don't have to be at Man U to win medals. So there's another United that people know about now, and that's Rotherham.
So Rotherham United's first ever trip to Wembley has ended in victory. On an emotional day, they've lifted the auto windscreen shield, beating Shrewsbury Town 2-1. The celebrations will go on late into the night. A great day for the 2-goal hero Nigel Jemson, and a great day for Rotherham United. Good night.
wants to frame Ellington.
Filing behind the region's clubs. And we begin with a look at Rotherham United's old boy, Ronnie Moore, who's now returned to manage the club after last season's relegation disappointment.
Ronnie Moore occupies a unique place in the affections of Rotherham fans. His arrival as manager this season was greeted with rapturous approval. Moore hopes to recreate the fireworks he supplied as a forceful striker at Millmoor 15 years ago. But he's realistic that the current honeymoon period with the supporters won't last forever.
A superb goal by Ronnie Moore!
I don't know what it's going to be like when we get beat. You know, at the moment everything's going well for me, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You're not going to win all the games, I've said that. Supporters have just got to be patient. We've changed the club round in the close season, and hopefully when the season starts we can put them in the right direction.
Ronnie Moore's return to Rotherham has captured the popular imagination in a town which demands more than third division football.
Get there, get there, get there! Do it early, do it early! Good skill.
There are signs already that Rotherham United will stick to those football principles. Unbeaten in their pre-season games, they even earned a creditable draw against Premiership newcomers Barnsley. Now, with Moore at the helm, the town of Rotherham expects.
Yeah, there's even Ronnie burgers on sale. There'll be more on Ronnie's return in Look North tonight, usual time, 6:30. Well, cricket news now in Yorkshire.
Qualified for the final of the 1500 metres at the World Championships in Athens.
Good news there. Now, the countdown to the new football season starts right here. All this week, we'll be assessing the prospects for one of our sides in each division of the Nationwide League, as well as Yorkshire's 3 Premiership clubs.
Yes, tonight we start with Rotherham United, relegated to Division 3, but looking for a fresh start under their new manager and former player, Ronnie Moore. As I found out, it's a town gripped by Moore mania. Ronnie Moore occupies a unique place in the affections of Rotherham fans. His arrival as manager this season was greeted with rapturous approval. Moore hopes to recreate the fireworks he supplied as a forceful striker at Millmoor 15 years ago. But he's realistic that the current honeymoon period with the supporters won't last forever.
A superb goal by Ronnie Moore!
I don't know what it's going to be like when we get beat. You know, at the moment everything's going well for me, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You're not going to win all the games, I've said that. Supporters have just got to be patient. We've changed the club round in the close season, and hopefully when the season starts we can put them in the right direction.
Ronnie Moore's return to Rotherham has captured the popular imagination in a town which demands more than third division football. Inevitably, it's also created all sorts of marketing opportunities. A town centre butcher has taken Moore mania to new heights. They're selling Ronnie burgers.
What have you been up to then?
The new manager's helping to restore links with the local community. Visits to sick children at the hospital have been reinstated. It's all given a new lease of life to one veteran player.
I feel young again. Like I say, the buzz in the town, the pre-season games have gone well. Everybody's looking forward to the season starting.
Get there, get there, get there! Do it early, do it early! Good skill.
It's hoped the euphoria can translate into a promotion challenge.
We're a good footballing side. We certainly won't be knocking high balls. We'll be trying to play our way out to third division. People say you can't do that, but come the end of May, I'll give you the answer to that one.
There are signs already that Rotherham United will stick to those football principles. Unbeaten in their pre-season games, they even earned a creditable draw against Premiership newcomers Barnsley. Now, with Moore at the helm, the town of Rotherham expects. And tomorrow night we'll be assessing the prospects for Grimsby Town.
I can't believe his side is still pointless after pre-season promise, but they were caught out early in the second half at Cambridge by Michael Kidd's well-measured finish. This was a day for the big men, and they don't come much bigger than Dutchman Gijsbert Bos, who took advantage of Trevor Berry's miskick to register his first goal in a Rotherham shirt. But anything he could do, Cambridge's own giant John Taylor could do too. A towering header almost did the trick. A determined follow-up killed off the Yorkshire challenge once and for all. It's Seaside Challenge next.
For Rotherham's Rod, the new man at the helm, he had to wait patiently for success. It came. Trevor Berry strikes blow. From a second goal, he paid a heavy price for his misjudgment, allowing Andy Hayward to cash in. John Cullen did cut the lead with 4 minutes remaining to give Rotherham a few anxious moments, but they survived. 2-1 the final scoreline.
Rotherham went to the capital still season, and when Jason White put them ahead early in the second half, reflection past the unfortunate Paul Hyde, they looked like getting it. In fact, it was stoppage time that they were denied. Carl Griffith launching an unstoppable shot into the top corner. The game ended up 1-1. Miller's manager Ronnie Moore ended up frustrated.
I think today we should have won the game, you know, but I've got to stop saying we should have. We have to start doing it. That's the thing. We just lack that little bit of professionalism at the moment. But we'll get it right. We're going in the right directions, that's for sure.
Barry Bennett backheeled the only goal for Scarborough at Shrewsbury, and Darren Garner hit it.
And a reminder that goals on Sunday.
Years, and so it proved again. Mind you, when you hit shots as emphatically as Darren Garner, well, you deserve to be on the booth 3 points.
In Rotherham's last home game, Andy Hayward scored in the dying seconds to earn a draw against leaders Notts County. This time his strike, a simple tap-in, came rather early, in fact. It was still enough to take all 3 points from league newcomers Macclesfield. Rotherham 1, Macclesfield 0. Rotherham revival continues. Unbeaten now in 7 matches. Put them ahead against Brighton. That was his first league goal. And Andy Roscoe's cross was then belted home at the far post in the second half by Lee Glover to double the lead. Brighton are homeless at the moment. This game was actually played at Gillingham, and they're also pretty hopeless. This goal from Stuart Storer 4 minutes from time was their first in 7 hours and 37 minutes of football. But it came too late. Brighton 1, Rotherham 2.
Burnley of Division 2, they shared 6 goals at Millmoor. Andy Rusco scored the opener for Rotherham after 17 minutes, the ball taking a cruel deflection. Seven minutes later, Burnley equalised. It was Michael Williams' strong run. He started the move, and Paul Barnes' cross was touched home by Andy Cook. But you couldn't afford to blink, and Rotherham went back in front through Alan Neil. 2-1 the score now. Rotherham's lead, though, lasted just a minute. Neil Moore, signed earlier this season, made it 2-2. And that's the way it stayed until 10 minutes into the second half. Gordon Cowan's lovely chip into the area found Paul Weller. Burnley were in front for the first time. There was, though, still one final twist to come, and Chris Waddle's side were pegged back when Andy Rusco scored his second of the game and Rotherham's third. 3-3.
Gary Richardson and Ray Stubbs with those reports there. Well, another of last season's surprise packages in the cup.
A 6-goal thriller at Millmoor. Andy Roscoe got the games and his first after 17 minutes, but he didn't know too much about it. Darren Garner's goal-bound shot hit him. Marlon Beresford was stranded, but they all count 1. Burnley were quickly back level. Former Sheffield Wednesday midfielder Michael Williams started the move, which was finished off by Andy Cook, with a few questions raised about the defending. And then 2 goals in a minute, with both sides using their heads at corners. First, Rotherham back ahead through Alan Neil. From the kick-off, Burnley went down the other end, and Neil Moore out-jumped the defenders. 2 goals that they'd approve of down at Lincoln. Just after half-time, second division Burnley went ahead for the first time. Veteran Gordon Cowan's picking out Paul Weller to make it 3-2. But it wasn't quite vintage claret, though, as Rotherham struck back on 66 minutes with Andy Roscoe's second of the afternoon at the second attempt after Weller's total misclearance. Surprisingly, no more goals. It finished 3-3. Both are in the hat this afternoon, and the replays at Turf Moor next week.
A year ago, Rotherham were incapable. They didn't panic even when they went behind at Scarborough. Jamie Millers have good travelling support, and how they celebrated 2 second-half strikes that made it 3 away wins from 4 journeys. Scarborough's defence caught horribly square and punished by Andy Roscoe, netting for the 4th time in a week. And the winner duly arrived, under quarter of an hour to go, and a belter of a shot from veteran midfielder Steve Thompson, leaving Nicky Buxton bemused and bewailing a 4th defeat in 5 games for the Seasiders.
Scunthorpe scored 3 at Rotherham. The Rotherham goal fest continues. They'd scored 14 in the last 6 games. What's more, most of them real crackers, and the one that put them ahead yesterday ranked with the best. Lee Glover's 4th of the season. Yes, Rotherham fans are certainly getting their money's worth at the moment because defensively they're not as tight as they might be. Aaron Skelton caught them out after a quickly taken free kick. And the former Mansfield striker Mark Sale rose high to head Colchester into a 2-1 lead. But that in the 61st minute just gave the Millers the chance to show their resilience. A minute later they were level. It was Lee Glover again, and what a contrast with his first. They don't come much scrappier than that. And there was nothing pretty about the goal that settled it. Centre-half Alan Nill's header caused chaos, and he was still on hand to bang home the winner. Colchester have never won at Rotherham, and there was no way back after that. 3-2 to Ronnie Moore's men.
Kings Lynn 0. Full-time, Rotherham 6, Kings Lynn 0. Here's the 6th and best from substitute Danny Hudson, right at the death. Death to the King.
Having knocked out Leyton Orient.
A half-time pep talk from the boss did the trick for Rotherham, and Ronnie Moore's rocket soon led to take-off. Lee Glover finally achieving the breakthrough against part-timers Kings Lynn. There was a touch of déjà vu about the ensuing minutes. First, Neil Richardson rose to head in from a left-wing corner. Then, when Andy Roscoe's sweet left foot offered another invitation, Darren Garner glanced in the acceptance. This was getting to look all too familiar for Kings Lynn manager Peter Morris. Mark Druce the next to profit from a corner. And even when Rotherham couldn't score with a direct header, they still found a way to squeeze the ball over the line. Trevor Berry getting a slightly less memorable goal than the one he netted at Burnley in the last round. The non-leaguer's best attempt to get on the score sheet was this free kick by Richard Skelly. Even Rotherham fans wouldn't have minded that going in, especially as there was still time for their team to make it 6. Druce's balloon shot was cleared, but led to a memorable first goal for young substitute Danny Hudson, leaving the managers to give their verdicts.
Well, you talk about a game of two halves. I mean, first half I thought we were so lacklustre it was untrue. I think one or two come up here and thought it was going to be a very easy game, which it wasn't. I mean, we made it easy for ourselves in the second half with getting the nice early goal. And the final ball in the box was a lot better. And I think overall, I mean, anyone at the game, second half, he could have won 12.
We did all right. You know, I would like the lads to score because they deserved to.
Eton 3-0.
Barnet 0.
Now, could there be a ray of hope on Doncaster Rovers' horizon? Well, before Friday night's South Yorkshire derby, there was news of an attempt to raise cash for a takeover. The men behind it have been told if they raise £2 million, the club's theirs.
We've launched an appeal, the RAF, the Rovers Appeal Fund, which has been, we've appointed local trustees, some local solicitors, and we're asking the public to make donations, and we've invited local businesses to come forward with pledges to possibly take a stake in the club.
The problem is, of course, who'd want to pledge their hard-earned on a club who looked doomed to relegation. Rotherham's 3-0 victory, Ian Gore's own goal from Andy Roscoe's shot put the Millers on their way, just re-emphasised the extent of their predicament. Lee Glover's pile driver from the edge of the box ended hopes of a revival, and after Scott Taylor dispatched the coup de grace, few amongst Doncaster's biggest league crowd of the season, 3,500, gave much for the chances of the latest survival plan.
I hope the businesses will rally round and they'll get this £2 million, but I can't see them getting the club for £2 million. Grim, isn't it?
Dill's men were well in command, although they had to wait until 10 minutes from the end to clinch victory. Lincoln missed the chance to take advantage of Peterborough's Boxing Day slip-up, despite having the better of things at Sincil Bank. Jason White scored the only goal for Rotherham 8 minutes from time. Rotherham go fourth after this win over Hull, but they made hard work of finishing off Mark Haitley's struggling side at Millmore. Lee Glover was the star of Rotherham's third win in Christmas week, starting with the opener in the 21st minute. The former Nottingham Forest and Port Vale striker added this second-half hat-trick to take his tally to 13 for the season. By the time Glover had notched his fourth goal of the game, the Millers were 5-1 up with almost half an hour remaining. Scott Taylor had scored Rotherham's other goal. But Hull refused to surrender, and Dwayne Darby and Glyn Hodges scored 2 apiece to set up a frantic last 18 minutes. Barnet are now well and truly.
Rotherham are now unbeaten in their last 10 away games, and they might have grabbed another win at Barnet. Good work from Sean Goodwin, but the Underhill turf played tricks to thwart Lee Glover. No doubt he'll support their plan to move to a new ground. It ended 0-0.
Third division table at the end of October and now bidding for a place in the top three. They're in the red, John's in the commentary box.
That's Garner's swing of the boot that sends the ball high into the Darlington half, but it'll break for Barnard. Well, there's some space through here, and there might be a chance for Oliver in the very first 2 minutes of the game for Darlington. Oliver, he took his time, and he took too long. The attempted cross cannoned down, but it's still come in here for a header from... Well, it's gone over the top, as it turns out, from Naylor. But what a good chance that really was for Darlington. It was a pinpoint ball from Steve Gorn that opened up the Rotherham defence there. Oliver really should have had a go first time. And when the ball eventually found its way into the penalty area, the former York City player Glenn Naylor got rather underneath the header. Berry's ball forward is a good one. Taylor turning, allowing Glover to join in. Good work. Lee Glover will be into the area here, and the cross is not a bad one, but it just got over the top of the
Ladies and
angle.
gentlemen, could the owner of a blue Corsair in the main car park
Lee Glover playing
registration
just behind the front two today,
M694
has been in excellent form recently, and he got inside the Darlington penalty box, but just lofted the ball over the top of the angle. White, now Glover. There's one ahead of him, and Glover's footwork enables him to ping the ball in there. Flicked away to Goodwin. Goal number 1 for Rotherham United. And applause rings around Millmore for one of his favourite sons. And Sean Goodwin poaches his first goal since the opening day of the season.
Number 8, Sean Goodwin.
And yet again, Lee Glover, who is having such a purple patch at the moment, was instrumental in all that. Some deft footwork from him. The cross ball into the area flicked on by Taylor, and Sean Goodwin needed no second asking. I did have the chance to take the lead in the first couple of minutes, but since then Rotherham have pegged them back. And they'll be pegged back once again now. It's forward here for Garner. And now it'll spin away. Still there are chances here. This is Glover. White's in the centre and misses his kick completely. But the flag had already been raised, so that will cover any embarrassment that the striker might have felt. But once again, some good work by Lee Glover for Rotherham United. And it was just a shame that White had gone a fraction offside by the time the ball came into him. And neither side able to keep the ball along the deck at the moment. A little surprising. They do have some quality, which they try to show now. White's hook ball. Here goes Jason White. It's a great chance, and he's got goal number 2. It's Jason White. And Jason White scores his 9th of the season and scores against one of his former clubs. He had a loan spell at Darlington 5 years ago, and he raced onto that ball through the middle when it was hooked onto him, kept his nerve, and as Priest advanced, just slipped the ball under the goalkeeper's body, and it rolled beautifully into that net from a Rotherham point of view. Rotherham 2, Darlington 0. Oliver. Oh, he's played a great angle ball in this time, and Darlington and Darren Roberts just cannot get it right at the moment. He's having a particularly lean time as the man who scored the most goals for Darlington last season. He had 18 then, but he's having a thin patch, and taking that pass in his stride, he had a terrific opportunity to bring Darlington back into the game. Oliver's header. Delilla will give chase. Like a little whip at this fellow. Darlington are looking a bit brighter at the moment, and it's in here dangerously for DeVos. How did he miss? Jason DeVos is normally so accurate in those situations. He wins a lot of the ball in the air, and the big Canadian here getting in on the end of that cross ball looked a certain scorer. And a rather wayward header there from DeVos means that Rotherham might get a third goal. They can seal it here. White. Well, he really needed to square it for Taylor. And Jason White really had two options. He could have gone for goal. He could have squared it for Scott Taylor. In the end, he rather ballooned the effort miserably. DeVos is getting more and more forward in a bid to get something for Darlington. It's been very scrappy for long passages of this match. Just the 2 goals to illuminate it so far. And again, they've a 2-on-1 situation. Is this number 3 for Rotherham? No, again the opportunity is spurned. And really, Rotherham should have been home and dry a long, long time ago. And Lee Glover on the break curses really, because that was a golden chance to seal the points. And we've moved into time added on as DeVos goes in for a header. And Mims, who still hasn't made a save, is able to bowl the ball out comfortably for Scott Taylor. The movement up ahead of him sees White on the charge, and Jason White is through into that area. Still Jason White, and that has finished the job. And it's 3-0 to Rotherham United, and Jason White has bagged a brace.
By number 9, Jason White.
And it was Scott Taylor who had the vision there to supply the ball right across from one side of the field to the other. And Rotherham really could have had a hatful this afternoon, but White has accepted that one, tucked it away with some relish, and Rotherham's surge up the table continues. He only had one boot on when he scored that goal as well. Three more valuable points for Rotherham. A promotion push is definitely on for them. The scoreline flattered them a little bit, but Jason White with 2 and Sean Goodwin with 1 pocketed 3 very good points for Rotherham against a very impotent Darlington. 3-0.
For football, I think Darlington played all the stuff. You know, we gave the ball away too easy for me, and had to defend hanging on really in the latter stages. But we'll take everything. At the moment, it's about getting the results. We're back when every one of them have fought their hearts out for me today. They've missed a sitter at 2-0 when the lads put it past the post. If that goes into 2-1, then we've got a game on. But I thought overall, the better chances, they played all the football, but we had a better chance.
Coming up in part 2.
Rotherham could be heading straight back to Division 2. Lee Glover's 14th goal of the season on 64 minutes was enough to send promotion rivals Exeter City packing. All first-touch stuff to delight the crowd of more than 4,000. One of Millmore's best this season. Rotherham 1, Exeter 0.
Now you have to go back to 1934 to find the only time Mansfield have ever won at Rotherham, but when Steve Whitehall struck twice in the first half hour to give the Stags a 2-0 lead, surely 64 fruitless years were about to come to an end. Whitehall's proved to be a shrewd signing for manager Steve Parkin, though he did need a little help for his second goal of the game and his 20th of the season so far, the ball actually ricocheting in via the bar off Bobby Mims' head. But Rotherham's response was almost immediate. 2 identical goals in 3 minutes from 6'3" centre-half Alan Knill. Now, can you tell the difference? After 35 minutes, that was the end of the scoring. Alan Knill 2, Steve Whitehall 2, Rotherham 2, Mansfield 2.
Poor fare at Glanford Park and a draw a fair result. Rotherham, without an away win since Boxing Day, threatened to end that when Lee Glover fired them ahead with his 16th goal of the season, and undoubtedly one of his best, that just after half-time. With time running out, though, Scunthorpe never gave up the chase, and John Eyre was in the right place at the right time to capitalise on dithering defending on 72 minutes. That's his 12th of the campaign. Scunthorpe 1, Rotherham 1, and both sides believe they can yet reach the playoffs.
We're going to keep going till the end. It's not over,
10, 11. There's nothing. You only need to win a couple of games and you're back in.
and we have to play the teams that are up there as well, so I don't see why not.
Doomed Doncaster frustrated their neighbours for 76 minutes, hardly getting out of their own half. But once Trevor Berry made the breakthrough, the floodgates opened. Neil Richardson should be credited with the second, as his header was way over the line before Jason White made sure. And in stoppage time, it became 112 league goals conceded this season. Still well off the record, incidentally, set by Darwin in the last century. Another corner, and it was Berry who popped up again to knock in Lee Glover's goal-bound effort to keep alive playoff hopes.
Another long, hard season for Hull City, who were on the end of an opening day defeat at Millmoor. That's after David Doria, who was signed from Scunthorpe, had given them the perfect start from the narrowest of angles. Within minutes, Rotherham were level. Vance Warner on the end of Andy Roscoe's corner, and confidence was restored in the home camp. Jason White, who was a leading candidate for the Man of the Match award, put them in front for the first time in this game, just after the half hour. Steve Wilson in the Hull goal attempted to narrow the angle, but White wasn't to be denied. Lee Glover, Rotherham's captain, put this match out of Hull City's reach, although the visiting keeper must have felt he should have done better. Hull beaten. Is this, I wonder, a sign of things to come? Barnett, who reached the playoffs under Johns.
Successful, the rest of football will contract, even if the lower league clubs like Rotherham believe it will never happen to them.
We've got plans moving forward. We want to improve the stadium. The first thing we've got to do is improve on the park. As I just said, we want to get out of this division next season and move on from there.
Determination in the face of adversity is, of course, the very nature of the beautiful game, but there are some who believe the die is already cast.
The young stars will still come through. I think probably in...
50 years, is that right?
That's right, she's been here 50 years. Watching Rotherham 50 years in year 2000.
Fantastic. Now, is it going to be a promotion year for Barbara?
Yes, we're hoping to go one better than what we did last year. We're hoping.
Yeah, well, you're fairly close.
As long as we don't meet our...
your bogey team.
Bogey team, Chesterfield, yeah.
OK. Well, let's whip across here to Bradford City. Now, a bit of an indifferent start for Bradford City.
Tommy Taylor called it the most disappointing performance since taking over at Brisbane Roads. The Orient manager saw his side emphatically beaten. Darren Garner's looping header gave Rotherham the advantage they'd been working for. Within a minute, it was 2-0. Skipper Lee Glover claiming the glory as his persistence paid off. Orient had opportunities to get back into this game, but didn't take them. The best of those came just before half-time, when they were awarded a penalty after Jason Harris was brought down in a goal-mouth scramble. Dean Smith was unfortunate to see his penalty effort saved with the help of a goalpost. Smith did at last get his name on the score sheet during the second half. He connected with Kwame Ampadu's corner, but normal service was soon resumed as Rotherham restored that two-goal advantage. Defender Jamie Ingledow scoring a rare goal. 3-1, and it was soon to be 4. Andy Roscoe, the dead ball specialist, proving that practice makes perfect. Rotherham top the league on their goals scored. Breathing down their neck as Southend, who've made... League leaders Rotherham maintain their unbeaten start to what the management team at Millmoor believe will be a highly productive season. Cambridge, the latest club to fall victim to Jason White. He's formed a lethal partnership with Lee Glover. Rotherham look to have one of the most feared front lines in the division. Glover this time the goal hero. Cambridge found homekeeper Mike Pollitt in inspired form. He kept a clean sheet. Even when it looked like he was beaten, the post intervened. And White's foul on Michael Kidd resulted in a penalty. United's leading scorer, Martin Butler, was thwarted by Pollitt, his second penalty save already this season. There was a dramatic start at Feetham's where Halifax...
Veteran striker Carl Schutt began his career scoring goals 6 miles away from Rotherham at Sheffield Wednesday, but yesterday he was on target for Darlington after just 7 minutes at Millmoor. But his delight was to last just a quarter of an hour. At the other end, Andy Roscoe's corner found an unmarked Paul Dillon, who controlled and fired past David Preece. After making such a strong start to the season in August, the Millers' recent promotion credentials have been somewhat unconvincing, but this win over the leaders Darlington has put them back on track. The match was settled from the penalty spot. The faintest of touches there from Darius Kubicki sent Paul Hurst sprawling, and Lee Glover sent Preece the wrong way. Darlington dominated the second half but couldn't find a way through, and with just 3 minutes remaining, an unfortunate deflection from Steve Gagan played in Danny Hudson, who was then clipped by Mark Bernard. Despite the protests from the Quakers' defence, another penalty was awarded, and although Preece guessed right this time, Glover slipped it underneath him. It was Rotherham's first win in 4 games. Ronnie Moore will demand more of the same against Rochdale on Tuesday night.
Last week, Rotherham let in 4 at Scunthorpe, so the Omens were not good when they went 2 down to Peterborough before half-time. Niall Inman found a way through for the first. The long throw can be a good ploy, especially when one of your opponents heads the ball back towards his own net. Leon Mackenzie gratefully took advantage. Rotherham's comeback was sparked by this corner, which produced an unholy scramble in the Peterborough goalmouth. Danny Hudson finally found enough space to smash the ball in. Hudson also claimed the second after Bart Greeming failed to deal with Darren Garner's cross, though substitute Chris Sedgwick also has a valid argument for his name to go on the scoresheet. The locals were becoming extremely restless by the time Rotherham stole in front for the first time. Shouts of offside, referee you blind, didn't put Hudson off. That goal definitely belonged to him. And Peterborough manager Barry Fry and his board were subjected to more hostility when the very merry Millers scored for the 4th time in 27 minutes. Trevor Berry completing the transformation. If only Rotherham could remember to play in the first 45 minutes, they may stay top. Scarborough keeper Tony Elliott had a day he'd like to forget, and the sooner the better. He and Alex Mirankov failed to communicate and left Leo Fortune West to say thank you. Scoring goals just isn't a problem for Ronnie Moore's Rotherham. They've got 35 already in the league. Mick Wadsworth must have nightmares about his defence, which had enough bodies around but still forgot to mark Trevor Berry. This was Fortune West's last match on loan from Lincoln, but he signed off memorably, picking the lock on the Scarborough door with the best goal of the day. The worst from Scarborough's point of view was the last. Certainly if your name's Tony Elliott. Andy Roscoe was happy to take the credit. 4-0 to Rotherham sounds emphatic, but Scarborough's Ray McHale thought it could have been very different.
We've probably made as many chances, if not more, through the game.
Tuesday we're still top of the league. I mean, teams have got games in hand, but all of a sudden they've got to win them games in hand now with us getting a result today.
It was a dour goalless draw at Millmoor as Rotherham strikers had an off day. The best chance probably fell to substitute Chris Sedgwick. It all added up to a frustrating afternoon. Rotherham 0, Exeter 0. Plenty of effort on a difficult frozen surface, but it all came to nothing, just like this shot from Rotherham's Lee Glover. Rochdale 0, Rotherham 0. They'll try again a week on Tuesday at Millmoor.
Veteran Bobby Mims's defiance for York wins him the goal.
The Millers are blowing hot and cold at the moment. Hot on the heels of a convincing cup win came a home demolition by Chester. That was Chris Priest, and this is Mike Conroy. And if you thought that was soft, how about this? Mike Conroy again. At 3-0 down, Rotherham managed to pull one back through Lee Glover, but before they could build on it, Chester had scored a 4th. John Murphy with an unmarked header at the far post. Jason White managed a very late consolation, but Ronnie Moore was so furious that he kept his players in for an hour and a half. And if you want to know what he said, here's a taster.
It was woeful, and I can only apologise for the performance of the supporters. They drive me crazy. I mean, if I could stop the wages, I would do, because, I mean, we can't have that. I mean, it was a shambles.
An honest assessment of Rotherham's dip to 8.
Trevor Berry for his strike against Rochdale in the FA Cup on Tuesday night.
Now, close on 19 years ago, the YTV cameras were at Saltergate for a third division derby between Chesterfield and Rotherham United. The commentator, as always then, was Martin Tyler.
Here's Crawford. And finding Walker, who's directed it into the corner. Here's Walker, who's given Chesterfield good service this afternoon, and a miscue that lets in Moss, and that's one nearer the record. All the way through to Walker, now Salmons, and lining it up on the left foot, and it's 3-0.
Well, there were over 9,000 fans at Saltergate that day. That season, Chesterfield finished 4th, 1 place behind Sheffield Wednesday. Incidentally, Grimsby were champions, and if there's a game you'd like to see, claimed the record for the most number of outfield appearances in the Football League. Unfortunately, the Stags lost at Plymouth. Rotherham's first win of the year came at home to Leyton Orient. Newcomer Paul Warne put the seal on their 3-1 win. And at the bottom, the Frenchman Alex Marinkov helped Scarborough increase their lead over Hull to 6 points with a 1-0 win over Rotherham.
Now, if your eyes can penetrate the mist at Field Mill, you'll see there was plenty of incident in Friday night's game. Mansfield, for example, had 2 first-half goals disallowed. That effort from Mark Peters ruled out because John Schofield was lurking offside. The 2 managers were wired to a heart monitor in an experiment to check stress levels. It was Rotherham's Ronnie Moore on the right who was the calmer. Not surprisingly, really, since after Warren Hackett had given away a penalty for handball, duly converted by Steve Thompson, the Millers went on to win at something of a canter. The second goal was created and scored by Andy Roscoe, his 4th of the season. Rotherham had endured a rocky patch in early December, but Jason White's late header confirmed they're right back in the promotion picture. It's Mansfield who have to bounce back now.
Russ Wilcox gave Rotherham keeper Mike Pollitt no chance. Some, indeed most, penalties are hotly disputed, but not even the culprit Gary Scott complained after this trip on Alex Calvo-Garcia. And John Eyre scored for the first time in 3 attempts from the spot. Ex-Scunthorpe defender Alan Nill then suffered a moment of horror heading into his own net. And within 5 minutes, it was 4-0. John Gale flicking on for Richard Logan's moment of fame. The war dance was so appealing, even a squirrel fancied joining in, and Brian Laws was soon going nuts too, as his defence then conceded 3 goals in the last 18 minutes. Rotherham became bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as Darren Garner headed in Jamie Ingledow's cross. Then, with 3 minutes left, Trevor Berry's measured pass opened the door for Paul Hurst to barge through and crash in a second. Rotherham had surely left it too late. Yet with a minute to go, Paul Dillon and Garner both swung their boots at the ball and it flew past Tim Clark again. Garner got the credit, but no one was fooling Ronnie Moore.
I think 4-3 flatters us. I thought we were second best all afternoon. I thought we were powder puff at the back, powder puff in midfield and powder puff up front.
I would like to have said something really pleasant.
It's Rotherham United.
And by for our Goal of the Week competition. The prize this week, 10 pairs of tickets to the FA Cup replay between Huddersfield and Wrexham on Wednesday night. But now back to our featured game between 6th and 7th in the 3rd Division, Halifax Town in the blue shirts, Rotherham United in the red. A big crowd's there. Let's rejoin John.
So here are 2 Yorkshire sides genuinely nurturing hopes of progressing up the Football League ladder. And certainly Kieran O'Regan, the Halifax Town manager in his first season, would love to steer Halifax up another rung after they came out of the conference at the end of last season. O'Regan, by the way, not fit to play himself today. He's got a slight injury, but he may be back next week. Now Berry, and he can cross a decent ball in here, and Strodder is up there for it and gets the header in, and there's a problem here, and Nill is down, and it's a penalty, and it's awarded for the trip on Alan Nill, the former Halifax Town player. Thackeray taking Nill out has given Rotherham just the chance they want of an early goal. And Steve Thompson steps up to try and make it 3 in 3 for him this in a current run. He's scored in the last 2 matches. He's scored in 3 in a row. Thompson for Rotherham. It's Halifax 0, Rotherham 1. And calmly slotted just inside Carter's left-hand upright. And Steve Thompson, with his 3rd goal in successive matches, gives Rotherham an early boost. Headed back across the area. And this is Williams. And it's going to be cut in by Bradshaw! And it's scuffed over the top of the crossbar. And what a miss that one is. And what a chance Halifax had to equalise straight away through the man who'd conceded the penalty, Andy Thackeray. Lovely move from Halifax Town with Mark Williams and Mark Bradshaw involved, and when it was played across the heart of that Rotherham area, Thackeray was in perfect position to equalise and atone for his error of a few minutes earlier. Second year from Stoneman. And that's a foul. Strodder into the back of Lee Power has given Halifax an opportunity here. Butler looked to take it sharply, but there was nobody really for him to give the ball to. It looks like his sort of angle. It isn't, but there is still an opportunity here for Halifax because Butler's going to swing across in. Pollitt stops on the line. Oh, it's a terrific goal! And Halifax Town are level through Paul Stoneman. A venomous header to which Pollitt had no answer in the Rotherham goal. Thackeray for Brown this time. And then a difficult ball for a goalkeeper, this one. And Pollitt, although he gets there, can't hold on. Williams. And he's still got chances here. Williams! And he's so unlucky. Well, that really was a very difficult ball for Mike Pollitt to contend with when it was swung in by Thackeray. And when Williams, who uses his low centre of gravity well, managed to turn back inside the penalty area, I thought he might score, and he's only a fraction away. But Rotherham United have scored so many goals this season. Ronnie Moore, of course, a former striker himself, their manager. The side seem to know all about scoring goals, but they concede rather too many for the manager's liking. Well, that was a turn by Garner, who hits good shots, and it's a fine one, and it's got in, surely in now. Warne will get the credit, Carter will get the blame. Rotherham's players go to salute their supporters, and they have the lead back again. But somehow, Garner twisted and turned in midfield to find the space for a shot, and he's probably got the best shot of anybody out on the pitch there. And he thumped it well, and although Carter seemed to get both hands to it, he couldn't keep it out, and Warne had the simplest of tasks to make sure. Rotherham 2, Halifax 1. Stoneman, scorer of the Halifax goal, trying to get it up into the corner, but Warner had read it. Now Jackson, who beats away Stoneman. There's movement up ahead of Jackson, who's still going it alone. This is good play from Jackson. It's a cut back for Hurst. It's 3, surely. Is it scrambled in by Ward? It is. And Rotherham may well have taken a stranglehold on the game. And it's 2 again for Paul Warne. But much of the credit there went to Justin Jackson, the striker signed from Notts County, who went on that run and almost seemed to take on the whole Halifax defence. When he cut it back, I thought Hurst was going to get his name on the score sheet, but the man who does is Paul Warne. Hill's header, and it lands on top of the crossbar, so that's a corner. There haven't been many of those today. It'll be Brown's corner for Halifax. And Pollitt won't get there, and this is dangerous. Stoneman's in there. Can he turn on this one, Hume? No, it's hacked out by Warner to Brown. A floater from him up to the back stick. Satori's in there, Hansen's in there. Pollitt's punch, it'll be under the bar, it's a goal. And Halifax have got their second. And it's set up a grandstand finish here. Lee Power has got the credit for the goal, hooking it over his shoulder into the net. Bradshaw. Is there a third one here for Halifax? They're in trouble there, Rotherham at the back post. Hume. It's gone wide. But these deep crosses are suddenly posing a big problem to the Rotherham defence. And when that one came over, Kevin Hume had taken up a good station at the back post, but planted his header just wide. Still the chances there for the home side. They are urged forward. No place for shrinking violets, this one. And it must be crossed in by Butler. Hansen's up for it. Chance here. Williams, brave goalkeeping by Pollitt. The chance has not yet gone. Well, it should be. Thompson's half clearance falls into Halifax territory once again with Butler. They have to get the ball up into that area. Hansen bravely flings himself into a header. Can Halifax get a break here? They might just. That is so agonisingly close. And Lee Power could well have won a point there for Halifax, but it's just gone the wrong side of the upright. And it's found a way through. Here goes Jackson for Rotherham. That's it! That's a win for Rotherham United. And a first league goal for Justin Jackson. Halifax might have scored at the other end 60 seconds earlier, but when the ball found a way through to him, Jackson, who's had an impressive game, strode on and smoked the ball past Tim Carter, and it's Halifax 2, Rotherham 4. The points are surely sealed now. And Rotherham United have leapfrogged Halifax Town with their 6th away league victory. Although they were two evenly matched sides, it's Rotherham's 4th win in 5 games that's kept their promotion challenge very much on course. Only Halifax Town's 2nd home defeat here at the Shea this season. They'll have better days, but it was an exciting match and it ended 4-2 in Rotherham's favour.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go. I mean, we're disappointed, obviously, because we felt we turned the corner a little bit with recent results. You know, and a clean sheet last week, beating Plymouth. Unfortunately, today it's not been our day. You know, and good luck to Ronnie Moore. You know, he's got a good little side there. You know, and they've had a bad run. I mean, he's had a chat with me, and you know, there's a long way to go yet.
When you consider that our 4 main strikers were missing today, you know, I mean, I think the 2 boys who've come in have done tremendous. That's 4 goals for 1 in 3 games. I mean, you couldn't ask any more. Justin Jackson's come in on loan from Notts County. His pace and enthusiasm and finished with a goal. I thought they did terrific, but I thought it was a good team effort. Everybody battled, we rolled our sleeves up. When he got to 3-2, as you said before, it could have gone either way, and we were lucky enough to get the break at the other end.
And we'll see what effect that has on the top of the list. As we mentioned earlier, Rotherham are Division 3's top scorers. Unfortunately, they also let in a few as well. Gavin Marn opened Brentford's account in what was to become the 5th game this season that the Millers have conceded 4 goals. 3 of them were to be scored by Lloyd Owuzu, who benefited there after Derek Bryan battled his way past Chris Beach. Chris Sedgwick's equally persistent run got Rotherham back into the game just after the half hour when he provided a simple tap-in for Paul Warne. But before half-time, Brentford restored their 2-goal advantage. Owuzu bamboozling Beach and Vance Warner en route to becoming the division's leading scorer this season. Now they say if at first you don't succeed, well, try and try again. No, it's not an action replay. It's Steve Thompson proving there is some validity to that old adage as he hauled Rotherham back into the game again. But his hopes were finally extinguished 10 minutes from time when Owuzu completed his hat-trick. Only just, though, to leave the Millers manager, Ronnie Moore, fuming and apoplectic about his generous defence.
I thought the defending was abysmal. Schoolboy. I mean, if a 10-year-old kid made 1 or 2 of the mistakes that our lads made today, you know, you'd tell them off, you'd punish them for it. I mean, we've gifted them a game, really.
It was 4-0 to Rotherham when they met at Millmore in November, and there was a sense of déjà vu yesterday. Debutant Phil Whelan rising higher than anyone for the first on 17 minutes. Scarborough's Sean Rennison's acrobatic effort was matched by keeper Mike Pollitt, but from then on it was all pretty much one-way traffic in Rotherham's favour. Paul Hurst made it 2-0 before half-time, following Chris Sedgwick's most inviting of crosses. It was then effectively all over. 10 minutes into the second half, a Bergkamp-esque turn and volley from Paul Warne had the visiting fans purring, knowing the game was definitely won. Even the Scarborough fans applauded. And the final seal was put on proceedings by Leo Fortune West on 72 minutes after a ruck in which United's other new boy, John Varty, was almost mistaken for the ball. So a very contrasting afternoon for the two sides. Scarborough 0, Rotherham 4. Mixed emotions for the managers.
We started well because, I mean, Scarborough's had a great run just recently, taking 7 points out of 9 against top sides in this division, so we knew it was going to be a hard game.
Well beaten today, I have no excuses.
Rotherham's on-loan central defender Phil Whelan was prominent in all 4 goals at Millmoor. He was the man with arm upraised, appealing in vain for offside as Giuliano Graziolo scored Peterborough's opener after 17 minutes. And within 60 seconds, his back pass was woefully short and Simon Davies nipped in to put a dent in Rotherham's playoff hopes. But Whelan atoned in the second half on 76 minutes, heading home from Steve Thompson's free kick to give the Millers some hope. And it was his cross that led to a penalty for a tug on Paul Warne's shirt. It was spotted by the referee and duly punished by Thompson from the spot. Peterborough nearly had the last laugh, though, with Davies looking for his second. He ghosted past that man, Whelan, beat keeper Mike Pollitt, but not John Varty, who pulled off the goal-line clearance of the day. Rotherham 2, Peterborough 2.
I don't think Rotherham would mind if they had to play all their matches away from home. 6 minutes into yesterday's trip to Darlington, Leo Fortune West stabbed in a goal well received by those merry Millers basking in the sunshine. Those who haven't missed a Rotherham match have seen 118 goals in league games alone this season, and it was as close as can be to 190 when Glenn Naylor's header thudded off the post and Mike Pollitt almost embarrassed himself. But there was no reprieve in the second half when Paul Heckingbottom got away down the left, but surely someone should have picked up scorer Marco Gabbiadini, given enough space for a country ramble. Rotherham's 8th away win duly arrived, courtesy of a free kick. 12 minutes from time, Andy Roscoe's strike took a deflection, but Ronnie Moore doesn't mind how they go in. Rotherham now unbeaten in 5.
Sufficient for Rotherham United to beat playoff rivals Swansea City, thanks to Leo Fortune West.
2 for Rotherham. Victory against Swansea. 1 goal was enough. Leo Fortune West was the home hero. Nick Cusack was the away villain. He had an equalising effort disallowed and was sent off in stoppage time. Leyton Orient had slipped up at home to Southend.
A big game at both ends of the table. Rotherham eyeing the playoffs, Carlisle deep in relegation trouble, but taking a surprise lead just before half-time through Scott Doby. There were just 17 minutes left when the Millers finally ground out the equaliser. Leo Fortune West using his 6'3" to full advantage. What followed earned the big man a place in this season's record books. A hat-trick in just 6 minutes, all headed goals. Manager Ronnie Moore was impressed with that, and even more delighted when the man he finally signed in transfer deadline week after a loan spell at Millmoor earlier in the season made all 3 precious points secure with goal number 3. Scarborough will have been happy too that Rotherham finally found their form.
The lads have battled their hearts out second half, but why does it take us 45 minutes to do it? That's the thing and the question that I've asked all season.
They've played 40-odd games or more, and it's now time to gather the thoughts, get them rested up and get...
Rotherham were looking to take some confidence and good form into the playoffs, but gained neither at the Diva Stadium, although Andy Roscoe's 25-yard effort swirled just wide. And the Millers will have to defend better than this, as a poor defensive header fell straight to Luke Beckett, who drilled the ball in to put Chester ahead. But Rob Scott's header for a late equaliser should have put smiles on the faces of the Rotherham bench. But after the match, Ronnie Moore accused Chester players of making racist comments to striker Leo Fortune West.
York City, they were both relegated from the second division last season, but they made a perfect start in their bid to bounce straight back. Lincoln took a 2-goal lead at home to Rotherham. They'd already scored from the penalty spot by the time Gordon Philpott volleyed home a loose ball. The Millers at least had the consolation of scoring the best goal of the game, but Paul Warne's injury time strike came too late. Lincoln 2, Rotherham 1. York manager Neil Thompson has brought in several new...
Off after just 4 minutes for an off-the-ball incident against Chester. But on the whole, it was a good day for the Millers. Leo Fortune West was on target in their 4-0 win, wrapped up by a howler from Chester's keeper Wayne Brown and punished by Kevin Watson. Halifax Town scored their first goals.
Steve Thompson against Northampton, the first when Paul Warne went down in the box. Whether or not it was debatable, there was no doubt about Thompson's accuracy from the spot. The second came late on. In between, Leo Fortune West dived in to score his third goal of the season, Rotherham 3, Northampton 0. Lincoln City registered their first away win of a difficult season so far.
Place. 3 wins out of 4 now for Halifax Town, who took the lead against Peterborough through Chris Tate. And the Shaman ran out 2-1 winners thanks to Jamie Patterson's second-half penalty. Continued their impressive home record, which now reads 5 wins out of 6, thanks to goals from Leo Fortune West there, and substitute Chris Sedgwick heading in with his very first touch. Lincoln City notched up their 4th straight win at Leyton Orient to the...
Darren Garner with 2 of their 3 goals, but Trevor Berry with the best one.
Well, of course, it was a great win for Scotland.
At Northampton, thanks to Paul Warne. Lincoln City continued their climb up the table with...
Worthing had never played a match north of Birmingham before yesterday's marathon trek to Rotherham, and the north didn't prove too hospitable to them. Steve Thompson, veteran of many a cup tie, curled in the first goal before the visitors had got the sea air out of their lungs. But this wasn't the fluent Rotherham of the past few weeks, but they still had too much nous for their Ryman League opponents, Thompson inviting top scorer Darren Garner to head his 7th of the season. It wasn't until the last minute that the victory was made to look more emphatic. Then Gary Martindale took a tumble under Miles Rutherford's outstretched leg and rounded off a satisfactory, if unspectacular, win with a penalty. Rotherham's 4th win in a row, their 6th in 7 matches where they've nilled the opposition. A cold and blustery afternoon at Boothbury Park. It must seem a million miles from Montego Bay for the 2 Reggie boys. And here is Rotherham United Scott heading the ball crossfield in her first touch in a Hull City first team shirt for Ian Goodison, and there's one as well for Theodore Whitmore. The 2 of them involved in the very early stages. Here now is Goodison, captain of Jamaica a year ago, but he's lost possession here to Rotherham United. And it will be a Rotherham throw, and Ronnie Moore says that Rotherham's season really started in the wake of 2 defeats by Hull City in the Worthington Cup. He gave them such a rocket, and they've really responded well to go top of Division 3. Now Brown trying to thread it into John Eyre. This is Schofield. He too looking for Eyre, who does win it now, and he won it cleanly, and it's in towards Brown, and it's put out for a corner kick. Good defending by Brian Wilsterman. It'll come in from Gareth Williams, the captain of Hull City today, with David Doria only on the bench. First time shot there from Whitmore. Picked up now by Steve Morgan. And a decent looking cross ball here, well held by Pollitt. That's why Ronnie Moore says he's the best goalkeeper in Division 3. Unfortunately directed there, and it's found a way out to Trevor Berry. And the cut is towards Fortune West. Scott with an opportunity, wastes it. Well, rather disconcertingly maybe from Hull City's point of view, it was the ball lost by Whitmore in midfield there, which nearly proved so costly. Berry away down the right-hand side. When it was cut back, Fortune West couldn't get a touch on it. It came through to Scott, and unfortunately for Rotherham, he's missed the target. So Hull going nowhere particularly at the moment. Goodison finds his countryman. Greaves. Harper versus Scott here. Whitmore and Goodison, and first shot in Hull City colours for Ian Goodison. Well, he once scored a highly memorable goal for his country. That was against Mexico back in 1996. So he's looking for his first goal in English football. 30-yard effort from Ian Goodison, much too high. Better moments these for Hull, who've been on the back foot for much of the game so far. Eyre. On for Williams, who's in an onside position. Well, Hull have only 2 in the middle. They have 3 loitering just outside. And they're taking an awful long time to do anything about this. Again, it's Whitmore. Good skill. Theodore Whitmore into the area now. Can he crown it? He'll slip it for his colleague Goodison. Back in. Oh, how close can you go? It's snaked wide of the upright. And the Reggie boys were nearly singing there. Neat skill from Theodore Whitmore in the first place. And it could have gone anywhere. The ball almost trickled into the path of Goodison. And his attempts just got the merest of deflections, and it bobbles wide of the upright. Yeah, they want to pick it up. Brown's calling for it in a forward position. It didn't get through to him. Stabbed to safety. Oh, and Guy Branston there has lashed out very unnecessarily on Brown, and he could be going off. He is, and that's absolutely right. What was he doing? What was Guy Branston thinking of there? Oh, and he's just lost his head completely. And the 20-year-old defender, who is on the 5th game of a loan spell from Leicester City, walks off, still fuming. But that was utter stupidity. Well, they've not conceded a goal in the games he's been playing for Rotherham, but they'll have a test on to preserve that record now. Brown was down on the ground, and Branston just lashed out. And it seemed totally unnecessary. And I'm sure that Ronnie Moore will have a few words with his young defender when he gets back to the dressing room, because that leaves Rotherham with 10 men for a half and a bit. Whitmore. Nice short ball for Harper. Schofield entering the fray. Tries to play a 1-2 and to get into the area. Taken care of for the moment by Wilstermann. And then Ayre looks to cut one back. Corner kick. Well, certainly a little bit of invention added by Whitmore here and Goodison. They need something clinical on the end of it all. And here is a chance. No, there was a handball there. It's no goal. Brown puts it in the net. There was a handball there. As the ball hung around in the air almost, Greaves came to meet it. Goodison was in 2. The handball spotted long before David Brown put it past Pollitt into the Rotherham net. Warne will be one-on-one against Edwards here, and Rotherham have got 2 other men getting forward, and still Warne goes on. Berry and Ingledow in the middle, and Edwards does really well. He's an impressive young defender, Mike Edwards. Still they have to defend as the ball is launched across towards Fortune West, who acrobatically goes for goal. Well, that's the crispest piece of finishing we've seen in the match. And you wouldn't have known from that Fortune West has gone 5 games without a goal. But the ball knocked across to him there, and he didn't have much time to size up his options. And it was a really good effort from Fortune West, and the best save of the afternoon made by Lee Bracey as a result. Rotherham's fans giving good vocal support for their players. And here's Berry, just checking and turning well and going into the area. Good shot, and palmed out by Bracey. Warne was closing in on him, and that's the first inkling really there of deficiencies in the whole defence. Berry was able to twist and turn well, hits in a hard and low shot, and it really bounces off Lee Bracey's chest. Warne can't get there in time. But for the moment, it's a Rotherham free kick. As we drift towards the end of the game, with a Rotherham ball in here for Fortune West, who spun on it, has another go as well. Shout for handball. I think the referee would take the view that the player just couldn't get out of the way. So time running out for these 2 sides if we're going to get a goal today. But it's a Hull City corner. Driven in high. Williams with the header across, and a fine save by Pollitt from Brown. I thought that David Brown had broken the deadlock there. Well delivered corner. Gareth Williams rising onto it, heads it across, and from inside the 6-yard area, Brown's header perfectly directed, and an excellent stop by Mike Pollitt. Well, it's certainly the closest we've come to a goal. Good corner kick in, and Williams has a good spring on him, gets it well at the back post, and it looked perfect for Brown to get the opening goal, but Mike Pollitt denied him. Through to Harris now. Only been on the field a minute. So, gets a decent ball in. Might yet come Williams on another fine save. Well, that's the best phase of the game, and it's all come in 60 seconds. First time cross in as well, and it eventually came for Gareth Williams, and that's 2 fine saves that Pollitt's made. And it must surely be too late for either side. It is. Hull City's old failings have surfaced again. They just cannot score goals these days. Rotherham United, who played the entire second half with 10 men after the dismissal of Guy Branston, would settle for that final scoreline. At least the Reggie boys have made their mark here at Boothbury Park for the final score: Hull City 0, Rotherham United 0.
It was always going to be our game here at 11. You know, so to actually come here and get guys sent off, it's disappointing for us. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't really know, you know, whether they did kick the lad or not. But at the end of the day, you know, you've got to give our lads marks for the way they defended second half, and really probably had 1 or 2 half chances.
Yeah, you're disappointed today though, because that wasn't, you know, one of our better performances, I thought. Effort-wise, the second half, you couldn't have asked for any more, but we just made wrong decisions in possession of the ball.
Is it difficult for somebody who has played in a World Cup finals to come and play at this level in England in a third division team?
I wouldn't say that, you know. As I said before, you have to just come here and show what you got, you know, and move on from there.
Well, hardly a sensational start for Hull's Reggie boys, but the real talking point of the game emerged later, and it concerned Rotherham's 20-year-old defender Guy Branston. Now, he was so angry after his dismissal at the end of the first half that he stormed straight down the tunnel, and on his way back to the dressing room, he smashed his fist through the referee's door, not realising that it had glass on the inside. Well, he was rushed to hospital with severed tendons in his arm, there's the door, and was kept in overnight.
Silly young lad, you know, he's put his arm through the glass window in the referee's room and severed 1 or 2 tendons in his arm, which will probably put him out for a month, which is crazy, you know, because, I mean, we want Guy Branston at the club. You know, that's the 5th game now and 5 clean sheets. And then the silly boy, frustrated, goes through there and does a thing like that to his arm. But we've got to get on with it now.
Well, Bill, did fair comment that, really. There's no place for that sort of behaviour, is there? Third against second, it lived up to its pre-match billing. Darlington skipper Marco Gabbiadini set the pattern, forcing Mike Pollitt to a flying save. The game even had a bizarre own goal, which may have given people like me the chance to spout nonsense about early Christmas presents, etc. It will have given Trevor Berry nightmares. There were just 7 minutes left when Paul Warne fashioned the equaliser. He ran at the heart of the Darlington defence before laying the ball back invitingly into the path of Jason White. Warne also had a hand in what proved to be the Millers' winner. His header gave Leo Fortune West a point-blank chance, but although Mark Samway saved superbly, White was there to pick up the pieces. And again, with Warne's assistance, he almost completed an unlikely hat-trick. But this time his effort hit the post and Samway's blocked Kevin Watson's follow-up. Breathtaking.
Fairy tale stuff, if you like, but I thought the crowd, when we got 1 goal, they really got behind us, and the atmosphere in there was magnificent. It was brilliant to see that the second one go in, and then really, but I think we deserved it.
Chelsea. The result of the day, though, came at London Road, but it won't be high on Barry Fry's 1999 highlights. Danny Hudson set the tone after 2 minutes, his first of the campaign. Rotherham boss Ronnie Moore was at home on his sickbed, but get well messages don't come much better than this. The first of a Paul Warne brace doubled the lead. His second, just after the break, ended any faint hopes of a fight back. Rotherham clearly enjoy playing at Peterborough. This their 4th win in their last 6 trips down the A1. The home fans already getting at Barry Fry by the time Steve Thompson's clever lob made it 4-0, en route to inflicting only Posh's 2nd home league defeat of the season. And Rotherham made it a nap hand 3 minutes later. Leo Fortune West with the goal his performance had been threatening from the start. 5-0, a warning to the rest of the division. Time may be running out for O's boss Tommy Taylor.
Ronnie Moore would like to know why his team is still inconsistent despite being top of the division. Paul Warne set them on the way to their 7th away win at Chester, who were not bottom by coincidence. After 2 shocking performances against Brighton and Halifax, to say nothing of an auto-windscreen defeat at the hands of bogey club Chesterfield, the manager thought of making changes. He was probably glad he didn't, as Andy Turner's cross found Leo Fortune West muscling his way in for goal number 2. That's 3 away wins on the trot now.
Premiership ref Mike...
Their point against Hartlepool.
Well, we've just seen there, Ronnie, you're top of the table. That's nice, isn't it? Or is it?
Well, we've been top 3 times this season, and I think it's lasted a week. So hopefully we can stay there a little bit longer this time.
What's the problem?
The home form, really. I mean, away from home, we've been magnificent this season. And we started really well at home. You know, we were beating sides 4s and 3s. Now, all of a sudden, we've just hit a little sticky patch at home. We've lost the last 3 games at home. So obviously, you're going to get the crowd on your backs. I think what I'll do when we play Exeter on Saturday, I think we'll get on a bus and go around the island and make it look like we're on an away game. It might help us a little bit.
How do you drum it into players that obviously, I mean, they should be confident when they're playing? How do you drum it into players?
Yeah, I mean, it's how we start the game. I mean, in the other games earlier in the season when we've won them, we've come out the traps nice and quick and bright, and we've played in their half. But I think we're just playing too much football, if you like, negative football, where we need to be just a little bit more positive and get balls in the right areas.
Nevertheless, you are looking good. I mean, you know, you're top at the moment. There's a bit of a gap there, isn't there? But obviously, you're looking good at least for the playoffs.
Well, you'd like to think so. I mean, obviously, we're aiming for that top 3. That's what we want. If we can go on and win a league, brilliant. But if we get the home form right, then I'm sure we can do that. We've got a good enough side. I've said that before. We've got a big squad and good players. And hopefully, you know, we can go on and do it.
You'll have to get the home form sorted out, otherwise you'll have the local MPs on your back, won't you? we'll be talking more about that in a moment. Thanks for the moment. Now our blast from the past. This week we've been speaking to one of the most recognisable faces in football. Danny Wilson wants him sacked. What do you make of it?
Well, it's crazy. I mean, they should keep out of it. I mean, at the end of the day, they're making a right mess of the country, aren't they? They can't get that right. They're trying to tell Danny how to pick a team. They want him out of the club. And the last thing you want before a game is for MPs to come out and do that. You know what will happen now. They'll be saying, no, it's a bit of credit now. We've come out and said that, and that's made the players play a little better for Danny, which really, it's a load of nonsense.
On the other hand, I suppose they would say we are entitled to our opinion.
Yeah, but there's a time to do it, and there's a way of saying it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the chairman wants a pat on the back, really. I mean, you know, he stood by Danny, and Danny will get them out of trouble. I honestly do believe that they will get out of that trouble. You know, there's no one better at the moment. You bring a new face in, I mean, you know, all right, you get 1 or 2 decent results at the start of it normally. But I think Danny, I mean, they want a pat on the back. I think they've done really well, and hopefully they'll do it this year.
OK, well, let's hope so. And that is it. Thanks to Ronnie for joining us, and, of course, to you for watching. We'll be back again next week. Regular time, 6:10.
Former Leeds and Bradford City defender Noel Blake took over as manager of Exeter during the week and quickly discovered what a tough life it can be, as Rotherham put his team to the sword. Leo Fortune West stabbing in the opener after just 5 minutes. If Rotherham's home form had been half decent, they'd have been miles clear at the top of the division. Yesterday they were 2 goals clear after just 7 minutes, Fortune West merely jumping higher than Exeter keeper Jason Matthews. By the 12th minute the points had been sealed, Fortune West again proving too much for shrinking opposition, Paul Warne hooking the ball into the net. If the big striker did the lottery last night, he must have won something. This was certainly his day as he won a penalty. Referee Pearson spotting the trip by John Gittins. And no matter how much the defender protested his innocence, the decision stood. Rotherham should have been 4 up, but Matthews foiled Warne with a tremendous save. It then became the Matthews versus Warne show. The goalkeeper's wretched clearance went straight to the striker. He hit the post, and to his enormous relief, the goalkeeper found himself clutching the ball again. Now, I'd love to be able to tell you what happened here. Suffice to say, Darren Rowbotham was sent off for what we're told was a reverse headbutt on Guy Branston. What I can tell you is that rampant Rotherham went on to record their second 5-0 success in recent weeks. Brian Wilstermann poking in his first goal for the club. And then Darren Garner setting up the position for from which Warne atoned for his penalty miss with his second goal of the afternoon. Rotherham's first home win of the year, an emphatic one. Having suffered 3 defeats in front of their own fans recently, Rotherham tend to start edgily at Millmoor, and they found themselves in trouble after just 5 minutes against Macclesfield. Chris Sedgwick had judged to have handled. And that left Greg Rioch to roll in from 12 yards. Sedgwick was to have his revenge on the half hour, though this time it was Macclesfield's Simon Collins who used his hand. And a game that forbids that privilege, and referee Graham Franklin was again pointing to the spot. Sedgwick simply hit it straight down the middle. A minute before the break, Rotherham got the goal that provided a 10th home win, Leo Fortune West claiming it, though a Macclesfield defender may have been culpable for steering the ball past his own keeper. The Millers' goal difference is significantly better than anyone else's, and would have been even better still but for Tony Williams foiling Paul Warne. And then Williams pulling off another excellent stop to prevent Fortune West registering what would have been his 12th of the season.
Clubs together, one sitting top of the division and one who's just appointed a new manager. Now, the top of the division, Ronnie Moore, Rotherham United. Can you stay there, Ronnie?
We'd like to think so. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, you know, there's a new manager in at the club and it's going to lift people. We just got to be nice and professional.
That's the last thing you wanted, probably, a new manager. But I think you ought to wish him well. Terry Dolan, the new manager of York City.
Certainly. After today's game, Terry, wish you all the best, mate.
Nice to be back, Terry. Yes, absolutely delighted. Yeah, even despite what went wrong at Hull City, it didn't put you off?
No, not at all. No, I did my best I could at Hull. It's now a new era, and York have got to get as quickly up the table as possible.
We're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good game here today. We're at Bootham Crescent for York City against Rotherham United.
Also coming up, Town bout. Pre-match pleasantries are over. We're ready for kick-off. York are in the red shirts, Rotherham in the white. John is in the commentary box.
An excellent atmosphere at Bootham Crescent, partly generated by the fact that Rotherham United have brought something between 1,500 and 2,000 fans here, hoping to see their side extend an extraordinary sequence away from home. They're unbeaten away from Millmoor since October the 9th, and a defeat at Swansea. And also a lot of interest locally, of course, with Terry Dolan taking over as the new manager of York City only yesterday, succeeding Neil Thompson. And Terry is here today, but he's sitting at the back of this stand in the director's seats. And the side for today's match has been picked by Adi Shaw. York trying to apply pressure inside the Rotherham half for the first time, but this is Branston. Rotherham's one signing since the start of the season. Then Warne. He'll cross it in towards Leo Fortune West as the sun comes out here. Fortune West tried to tip it to Garner on his right, and the ball has spun away off the figure of Paul Hurst for a goal kick. What a movement down on the Rotherham touchline with Ronnie Moore there on his left, his assistant John Breckin, and Alan Nill, the youth coach, sitting down. And interesting that Rotherham in the 10 minutes prior to kick-off had a real warm-up session. But it's Rotherham attacking now with Sedgwick. Trying to get on the outside of the defender. Sedgwick's done well here. Will whip this one across. Fortune West. Rotherham have the early lead that their manager demanded of them. Super play by Chris Sedgwick down the right-hand side. And it's going to be interesting now to see how York respond to that early concession. Sedgwick working his way past Martin Reed, floating in the perfect cross for any centre forward, and Leo Fortune West simply had to nod his head, and he had goal number 12 of his season. Conlon. And he's weaved away in here. This is Conlon. Well, to his credit there, Barry Conlon was always going for goal, always weaving through and getting it onto his left foot. But the angle was a difficult one from there, and he hit it well wide of Rotherham's right-hand upright. It's a Scott throw now. On by Fortune West, Ward into the area, corner kick. Well, Rotherham was certainly winning on corners. They're also winning on goals, of course, more importantly, and once more Turner will be charged with the responsibility for this. Rotherham seeking a second goal in this first half at Bootham Crescent. Well delivered from Turner and taken by Mims. I don't think Fortune West did much there, but certainly Jordan and Satori are taking it out on him. And now Bobby Mims has gone to ground. Well, it didn't appear to be a great deal of bodily contact to me there between Fortune West and goalkeeper Mims. But referee Olivier is going for words with Gary Kelly, his assistant, on that far side of the field. Fortune West, as the captain of Rotherham, is also approaching them. And he was the aggressor, and he is going to be cautioned. Conlon turning again here. Still battling, and he's got in here. Conlon! And a good shot, and a good stop as well from Mike Pollitt. Well, Conlon's the one player for York City who's impressed up front. He was a little fortunate there to get an opening, but when it came to him, he rasped in the shot. And Pollitt equal to it, as has been equal to everything so far. Turner wide, and Turner is well covered by Skinner, but he might get the better of him even now. Turner's first time ball, chance here for Garner, and Garner's shot whisked over the top. The man who got the winner at Millmoor against York back in August nearly got a precious second goal for the Millers then. Turner just getting the better of Skinner down that left-hand side. Took him a long time to do that, but eventually got the better of him, and the cross in. Eventually it comes to Darren Garner, his shot over the top of the bar, and it stays at 1-0. Well, Bootham Crescent nestles beneath the shadow of York Minster, so a lovely setting for our third division game this afternoon. No changes for the second half as we get underway again with Rotherham a goal to the good. Terry Dolan has managed to stay away from the touchline. He's still up in his seat in the stand. Sedgwick down the line, here goes Jason White. Jason White can set up something here, and with Vaughan going in, it was a good bit of defending by Hocking, who came across. But as it happens, it was Vaughan who put it out. Mark Williams trying to turn away from Wilstermann and then to bring Hocking into the match. Here goes Matt Hocking now, and he's come a long way. Hits the shot, and Pollitt holds on. Well, somebody has breathed some new life into York City in the last few minutes. And here a very purposeful run from Matt Hocking. And a well-driven shot too, but Pollitt equal to it. Williams able to turn. Just gets the throw of Scott. Correct decision from Mr. Olivier, who's in a good position there. It's the first time the referee's been here to Bootham Crescent. He tells me he's only about 6 short now of completing the 92 clubs in the league. Williams, he's got a chance to cross a ball in here. Chance, maybe! Oh. And Pollitt, for the first time, found himself struggling there as Craig Skinner got up for the header, but it nearly crept in past Pollitt. Well, they'd settle for 1-0. 3 points are all that matters, and if they see a win today, Rotherham will go into the 60-point mark. Well, Rotherham may be grateful for that early goal from Leo Fortune West here. Conlon's going on. Conlon onside, scores! And York have an equaliser. And Barry Conlon thrusts out his chest and says, "There, I'm the man for you." Joy for those York City fans, and they've pulled themselves back into the game. And the little flick through opened up Rotherham down the middle, and Barry Conlon went on, and he smashed a left-footed shot past Mike Pollitt, and it's his 8th of the season. Game on again. White. See the cross in. I think that's a corner. Barry Jones got the ball out. The only question was whether it was for a throw-in or a corner, and the referee says it is a corner. Rotherham would love the lead back as the rain swirls across Bootham Crescent. And has it gone over the line? No. Fortune West had gone in for it, White had gone in for it, and the goalkeeper just about managed to keep it out. But here come York themselves, and there's a chance for Mark Williams. He could win it for York here. Tries to backheel it in. Still Williams, turns the other way. He's still there and can't finish the job. Mark Williams had the chance of some personal glory there. Homing in on goal, up against Mike Pollitt. But somehow you just didn't feel he was going to get the break he needed. Rotherham, the 3rd division leaders, wanting another goal. And there's Garner. Oh, it might be an own goal. Is it forced over? No. Jason White just cannot turn it through against his old pal Bobby Mims. I thought it was going to come off Reed and go into the corner of the net there. That would have summed up York's luck so far this season. Darting little run from Christian Fox. He's like a younger version of Janino when he runs like that. Conlon up for the header. He's done very well. Very impressed today by Barry Conlon, who is flat out in the penalty area at the moment. I hope he's okay, because Rotherham are playing on here with Trevor Berry. And now he goes down, and that will give the referee the opportunity to stop the game, which he certainly needs to do, because Conlon is still down in the opposition penalty area. And he climbed into that header there, directed it straight at Mike Pollitt. Now then, can Rotherham conjure up a winning goal for themselves from this Darren Garner free kick? Up it goes, Fortune West on, White, it's there, it's Branston, and Rotherham may have nicked it. The last time we saw him at Hull City, he walked off the pitch, and he's been sent off that day. Today, Guy Branston may well have won Rotherham United victory. Good ball in from Darren Garner. It looked as though Jason White might get the final touch, but instead it's Guy Branston who scores only his 2nd goal for Rotherham United. His other one was in a defeat. This one may be a winner. It's York 1, Rotherham 2.
I was a bit brave today. I don't know whether it was brave or fool. At the end of the day, it's probably brave, because I played 3 up front. And we invited a little bit of pressure, and you're thinking, can I change it when it's 1-1, and why change it? You know, if you change it and lose, you're taking the striker off when you really want to go on and win the game.
The win was difficult, and Rotherham found...
Happy days at Millmore, especially if your name happens to be Leo Fortune West. The striker in awesome form nipped in to tickle home Chris Sedgwick's cross, his 3rd goal on consecutive Saturdays. 4 minutes later, he made it 7 goals in 6 games, one that summed up his current fortune. He may even have mishit the shot. Does that really matter? Carlisle, the one side who could give Chester City a reprieve, came back to score through Steve Halliday. But Ronnie Moore's side can look to almost anyone for a goal these days. Brian Wilsterman, the 15th player on their score sheet this season. The top of the table side, who won at Carlisle in November, still had another shot coming, however. Steve Soley angling in the shot to make it 3-2. But promoted teams tend to ease through this sort of match, and so it was when Rotherham rounded off their 5th win in 6 games. A replica of last week's goal, a Sedgwick cross. Fortune West's 2nd hat-trick against Carlisle in consecutive seasons.
Rotherham fans must love going to away games, having not seen their side lose on their travels since October. But it was Dale who almost went ahead through Chris Bethany. Jason White was restored to a three-pronged Millers attack, and he proved a point to Ronnie Moore with the game's only goal just before the hour mark. The linesman said it was already over the line before Paul Warne made sure.
During February for the Millers and a Manager of the Month award for Ronnie Moore. But they couldn't start March with a victory, although they do stay top. Plymouth's first away goal for over 500 minutes came from the head of Chris Hargreaves midway through the first half. But Rotherham grabbed a point 14 minutes from time with Paul Warne's 9th of the season. Warne missed the first shot, but not the second. Rotherham won, Plymouth Argyle won.
John Stills Bees.
Argyle was playing green until yesterday, when they displayed a new blue kit and made Rotherham just as blue with a lovely goal headed in fiercely by former Grimsby and Hull man Chris Hargreaves. Despite monopolising possession, it took the divisional leaders 76 minutes to draw level. Steve Thompson's corner, Andy Turner drilling in a shot. Subsequently, Paul Warne claiming his 9th of the season.
He's a great Brit as far as Rotherham are concerned. Manager of the Month for taking them top of a 3rd Division chart. We'll meet the man later on. Right now, though, it's straight on with the action.
Nicknames, the Millers, or sometimes the Merry Millers. Now is one of those times. They've been top since mid-January, and manager Ronnie Moore is rekindling memories of his success with the club almost 20 years ago.
Here comes for Moore!
Well, there was a massive buzz. You know, we had a good manager in Ian Porterfield who came and did the right things, and we just seemed to gel, and the feeling around the town was magnificent. I mean, we were getting 9s, 12s, 15,000 people in here, you know, and an atmosphere like that was magnificent.
A final day victory over Plymouth in 1981 saw Rotherham crowned champions of the old 3rd Division. Moore made the most of the moment.
The delighted scenes here take place, and Ronnie Moore, scorer of the first goal. There's no way he'll be getting to the dressing room for a while.
Everybody was ready to run off the pitch because, you know, all the supporters came on. But being the shy lad like I am, I stayed there. I was, you know, there was no way I was going to miss this moment. And I was last one off, carried off by all the supporters, and it was a tremendous thing. I mean, they took my shirt off me, my shorts off me, my socks off me. I mean, I was lucky I had a jockstrap on, that's for sure.
The only thing exposed at Millmoor in the past few weeks have been opposition defences. Rotherham are Division 3's leading scorers. Leo Fortune West alone netting 11 since Christmas. The giant striker who struggled at Lincoln and Brentford finally recapturing the form which 4 years ago earned his break into the pro game.
Well, I was 23 playing non-league football at Stevenage. I went to Gillingham, had a very good year there. Broke my leg, unfortunately, and since then had 2 bad moves. And I'm just trying to, you know, turn a corner personally. It's important not to get too carried away. I mean, you know, we've got a lot you know, young players on the side, and just need to keep, you know, winning the games really. You know, one game at a time. I know it's cliche, but you know, it's true.
The caution's understandable. Rotherham fell at the last in '99, beaten on penalties in the playoff semis by Leyton Orient. Perhaps that explains why fans are refusing to get overexcited about the current run.
We're averaging 3-8 this season. Last year, I think it was 4-2. So where the other supporters have gone, I don't know. Maybe financially, we're in an area where there's a lot of football teams as well. Also, what you get from 1 or 2 of our supporters probably is they've seen it all before. Over a 10-year spell, you know, the sides look like they're going to do something. They go up, then they come down, then they go up, and then they come down. The only thing that changes in the football club recently has been the manager. You know, it's like Groundhog Day. You know, so we want to stop that. You know, we want to go up this season and we want to go on. Hopefully with the backing of the board and the chairman.
Surprisingly, Moore's future is still uncertain. February's Manager of the Month is out of contract this summer. Some supporters fear he could be tempted away if the club doesn't act soon.
I'm waiting for the chairman and board of directors to get together and put some sort of an offer to me. At the moment, nothing's happening. It's quiet, which is very unusual for a side that are top of the league and the manager coming out of contract. So I'd like that situation to be resolved as quickly as possible.
We've got an understanding, so he wants to be at Rotherham and we want him at Rotherham, so no problem there. We've had talks about it, and as I say, it's only a matter of signing on the dotted line. He'd like, no doubt, to be signing it when he's at the top.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nationwide League Division 3
I want to stay here. I love it here. You know, I'd love to have a 10-year contract here. Obviously, I'm not going to get one. But, you know, that's my feelings. I love the place. I love the people.
The affection's mutual and shows no sign of waning. 4 successive wins have delighted the fans who lobbied for the appointment of their old favourite 3 years ago. But on Saturday, against his 80s adversaries Plymouth, Moore and his team met their match. Rotherham deployed the same attacking 4-3-3 formation that's worked so well for them recently, but this time the goals didn't flow. Chris Sedgwick's crosses were often accurate and incisive, but for once Fortune West's finishing touch had deserted him. He was soon to regret that miss even more, Plymouth fuelling their own drive for the playoffs with a surprise opener. Chris Hargreaves made the long journey from the West Country suddenly seem worthwhile. The home side could have been back in it within seconds. All through the first half, keeper John Sheffield found Fortune West's presence unsettling. The slightest touch would have been enough. Some anxious faces now around the place. Not surprisingly, Plymouth were mostly content to concentrate on defending their lead, but still managed the occasional scare, Sean McCarthy letting the leaders off the hook. The longer it went, the more an equaliser seemed inevitable. It came 14 minutes from time. Not the best goal Millmore's seen this season, but certainly one of the most welcome. Paul Warne rescuing a point, 2 less than Rotherham expected, but they're still on course for the second division.
I think if we don't do it now, we can only blame ourselves. We don't need any help from anybody. If we fail, it's because we weren't good enough and 1 or 2 players bottled it. But I don't think we've got players in our side now who do bottle it. We're big, we're strong, we're mentally tougher than we were last year. So hopefully now we'll go on from there.
After the break, some belly laughs from the second division.
With games in hand. After just 12 minutes, Torquay were given a penalty when Gary Neal was tripped inside the box by Guy Branston. From the spot kick, Brian Healy had no problem converting past Mike Pollitt. Just before the break, Rotherham United fought back and earned a free kick on the edge of Torquay's box when Paul Warne was brought down by Kevin Hill. Steve Thompson's free kick was immaculately struck to bring the Millers level. Soon after the restart, the goals swooped with what proved to be the winner. Healy's free kick, headed in by teenage trainee Tom Stocko. Torquay boss Wes Saunders was sent off later, but his team held on. Torquay 2, Rotherham United 1.
After 3 games without a victory, the O's return to...
Rotherham are in red and white shirts. Peterborough in 4th before yesterday's game. They're in the blue. John's made it up to the commentary box. Let's rejoin him for kickoff.
Rotherham's most impressive performance this season came on Boxing Day at Peterborough when they won 5-0 with a patched-up side. So something akin to that today would do very nicely for Ronnie Moore and co. And they got back to winning ways in midweek at Leyton Orient when all results seemed to go their way that night. Here come Peterborough though in all blue. The striker up there, number 9, Andy Clark, back having missed the last 2 games. He'd scored in the previous 4, so Barry Fry looking to him today. As the ball is crossed in and Pollock must take it here. And his excellent goalkeeper does exactly that from Jellyman's cross. The last time Barry Fryer was here, he got a real taste of South Yorkshire humour. At half-time, he poked his head out of the dressing room door and asked for any scores, and the answer was, yes, mate, Rotherham 1, Peterborough 0. This is Will Varty restored to the side during the week after 4 months out. It's now Warne. Here's a chance now, it's Warne into the area, Warne with the shot too high. And that all came about because of some clumsiness in the Peterborough defence. Some not very good defending there. The ball running through to Paul Warne, who cut inside the first defender, unleashed a shot much too high. White, given to Sedgwick, and White wants to take it on in company with Sedgwick, who is down that right touchline to get the throw-in. In by Thompson. Sedgwick's header across here, and a goal! And it's Paul Hurst, who has stolen it from nowhere to give Rotherham the lead. Well, in a game that had produced absolutely nothing up until that point, Rotherham get the first goal from an unlikely source. But it was that right-wing move and the urgency shown in particular by Chris Sedgwick, and it was Sedgwick's header across the area which fell perfectly onto the head of Paul Hurst, and he certainly doesn't get many goals with his head, but he's got one today. Rotherham lead the division, of course. And here's a hook ball and confusion between Greenwich and his defender. Hooked away. It was Knight who got the ball away, but the Peterborough defence is in a bit of a tizzy at the moment. It's through again here for Jason White, and Greenwich holds on this time. It was Steve Thompson who returned the ball in there very quickly and perfectly to White, who had to try and hook it over his shoulder, and Greenwich held on. Jason Lee's got a header in this time, which will locate Clark. There are 4 Peterborough players in the middle, but Clark can do no better than win a corner. The signal's gone out, and it's a good safe catch once again for Pollitt, who bowls it out first time, but it's a gift for Oldfield, who can drive Peterborough in here. He'll square it for Scott. And then Scott is into the area. Great chance for Castle, and he scuffs the shot directly at Pollitt. And that's certainly the best opening that Peterborough have contrived, and it came about because the goalkeeper tried to bowl it out to one of his players, and in fact conceded possession, and David Oldfield, the new signing for Peterborough, went on into the area, and as a result of a ricochet, Castle was left with a shot, and he fluffed his lines. Knight, who's a centre-back playing at right-back. He's out of position, really, but he's done OK until that moment when he crossed it straight to Thompson, who'll lose the ball to Lee. Thompson got caught, and then the ball was played straight out, so it's just encouraged Peterborough to come and look for an equaliser late in the half. It'll drop to Cullen here, who gets a shot in and scores for Peterborough United. It's John Cullen, and it's an equaliser out of the blue, and his first goal for the club. Well, he's got a good goal-scoring record this season, Cullen, and amazingly, playing here for the 3rd time this season for 3 different clubs, he's dragged Peterborough back into the game. Cullen, who played here early season for Shrewsbury and then played when Halifax Town won here just after Christmas, got a snapshot in, and it's gone wide of Pollitt's right hand and into the corner of the Rotherham goal. One apiece. Sedgwick's ball forward into Warne here. Takes it down very nicely. Rolls it down for the shot from Jason White, and the save of the game from Greenwich. Lovely build-up this from Rotherham. And Paul Warne took it down in exemplary fashion there before supplying the pass, and Jason White's shot was net-bound until Greenwich got his right hand to it. Warner pushed by Clark. Clark swings his left boot and gets the ball across here towards Lee, who gets a header in, and Oldfield puts the chance over. Good opening this for Peterborough, and David Oldfield is close to what would have been his first goal as a Peterborough player. Jason Lee using his height to get onto the end of Clark's ball across, and Oldfield arriving at the perfect moment, but he lofts it over the bar. And you get the feeling they're hounding Rotherham a little bit now when they move forward in numbers. With Oldfield here, shielding it well, and then Castle lifts it across. Headed down by Lee, chance for Peterborough. The height of Jason Lee there was crucial in that move for Peterborough. Castle had played it across. Lee got it down, and it was the substitute, Matthew Gill, coming in here. The ball is prodded into the chest of keeper Pollitt. But Rotherham have one last hope because they have a corner off the head of Ray. Can Rotherham achieve what would be a major breakthrough? It's an in-swinger, but it's a keeper's catch. And the referee says away to the dressing rooms. It's ended one apiece here. Rotherham may well see it as a 0.1 rather than 2 dropped. So it finishes at Millmoor, Rotherham United 1, Peterborough United 1.
It's like nobody wants to win a league at the moment, doesn't it? You know, it's daft. I mean, it's so wide open. I've said before, we've got massive games. They're all big games for us now. I mean, Peterborough is one. We go to Darlington now. There's going to be one hell of a game, that one, that's for sure.
Well, we'll take a detailed look at the top of...
As Spurs visited third, Darlington knew a win would take them within a point of Rotherham with a game in hand. And when Marco Gabbiadini's 24th league goal of the season in the opening exchanges took him to his best ever haul, that seemed a racing certainty. Chest about. And 3 minutes before the break, Glenn Naylor put another nail in the Rotherham Championship coffin. Or so he thought. But in the second half, the Millers were a different proposition and kept their astonishing unbeaten league run at Feetham's, which stretches back some 51 years. Guy Branston halved the deficit and for a moment of madness denied the Quakers an essential win in their championship challenge. Steve Tudell, I hope that doesn't prove very costly in 6 weeks' time. And Rotherham could have snatched this tempest fray towards the end. Appeals for handball against Craig Little, and that the ball across the line fell on deaf ears, but still a much better result for the visitors. Darlington 2, Rotherham 2.
Swansea have triumphed by 1.
Rotherham United are limping a little towards the third division title, held to a draw for the third successive match yesterday by Southend, whose Mel Capleton saved well from Jason White. It was a scrappy and untidy game on a bare pitch, summed up by this pinball episode in which the ball seemed to bounce off everybody before landing in Capleton's hands. Southend haven't scored an away goal in more than 10 hours, and they ended up with 10 men when Nathan Jones apparently took it out on Vance Warner after that little tangle and was ultimately shown the red card.
The 11th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster was commemorated with a minute's silence at all matches in England. Rotherham moved to within 2 wins of automatic promotion after drawing at Brighton. The Seagulls, unbeaten in 9 games, took the lead through a superb Paul Watson free kick after 24 minutes. The Millers hit back with a free kick of their own just before the half hour. Steve Thompson's low shot was their 67th goal of the season, making them the division's leading scorers. Ronnie Moore's side are now 2 points clear at the top, thanks in part to keeper Mike Pollitt, who saved well from Gary Hart. Brighton 1, Rotherham 1.
Plymouth are now unbeaten at home in the league.
Rotherham are stuttering rather and marching confidently towards promotion. They had keeper Mike Pollitt to thank for saving from Darren Freeman, but he couldn't get more than the merest touch to Paul Watson's well-taken free kick. It was from a similar situation that the Millers finally grabbed what could still prove to be a vital point in their bid for the title. Not Steve Thompson's best, in fact it may have taken a deflection. Given the length of his injury list, manager Ronnie Moore was happy to come away with a 1-1 scoreline.
2 to Rotherham United. They achieved promotion with a victory that also dents Hartlepool's hopes of the playoffs. The Millers got off to a great start in just the 6th minute. Chris Sedgwick delivering the perfect cross for top scorer Leo Fortune West to net his 17th of the season. No team in Division 3's won more home matches than Hartlepool this campaign, so maybe no surprise they fought back. Ian Clark got in behind the Rotherham defence, and despite the appeals for offside, was allowed to go all the way. Everyone seemed to be expecting a cross. Clark was just happy to silence the away fans. Rotherham have the most potent strike force in the division, but it was a defender who turned match winner. 21-year-old Guy Branston connected with a long throw to book a place in Division 2 and register the club's 11th away win this season. Ronnie Moore was a real fan's favourite as a player. Now he's emulated that success as a manager. Hartlepool must now do better than Cheltenham if they're to reach the playoffs. Hartlepool 1, Rotherham United 2.